Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy KCM What Ifs. Today we are gonna be reading the Sharingan Devil, or what if Naruto had the Sharingan and was a captain of the ANBU. So sit back, relax and enjoy. The sound of wind could be heard clearly in the area, as two ninja were standing opposite to each other on the rooftop of the small house. "I'm Captain Itachi Uchiha, 2nd Squad, ANBU Black Ops Division," said the now identified ANBU calmly. Naruto's eyes widened in shock, as now in front of him stood the strongest ANBU captain, one who was considered to be as powerful and ruthless as Naruto himself, the one who wiped out the strongest clan in the world by himself. So, the old geezer sent someone as strong as Naruto, both physically and emotionally, thought Kurama cunningly. "Itachi Uchiha," said Naruto calmly. The surprise on his face disappeared and was replaced by a stoic expression. "Itachi Uchiha." Naruto looked at his new partner cautiously. This was the man who had ruined Sasuke's life. He was the most skilled assassin and spy, as the 2nd Squad of ANBU Black Ops always produced the most dangerous assassins in the world. "You don't seem surprised," said Itachi suspiciously. Every person he had met after he killed his clan looked at him with hatred, but Naruto was having the same look in his eyes as Itachi had. Itachi was irked a little as Naruto was just looking at him stoically, and was not saying anything. Was he in shock? Itachi couldn't sense any fear coming from Naruto, he was just standing. "It is a courtesy to introduce yourself when a captain stands before you," said Itachi patiently, and he soon leaked his chakra showing his power. He didn't want his new partner to take him lightly, even though he was quite shocked when he discovered Naruto was an Uchiha too. He had watched the boy during his childhood, but now the person that stood in front of him was something else. Fortunately Nono had gone into a nearby town with her orphanage's children, to let them have some fun and get the equipment for Naruto's surgery, so they were all alone in the area. "Captain Naruto Uchiha, 11th Squad, Root ANBU Forces," said Naruto seriously. To make his point clear, he activated his Sharingan. Itachi's eyes widened a little when he saw his Sharingan. Hiruzen had told him that Naruto was an Uchiha, and he still couldn't believe the Hokage hid such information for so many years. But now he was quite surprised when Naruto introduced which squad he was from. "You are from the 11th Squad?" asked Itachi curiously. "Yes, is there a problem?" asked Naruto coldly. "He's from the same squad as Shisui was, he really has changed." "What happened to him?" thought Itachi seriously. The 11th Squad was the most lethal squad in ANBU Black Ops. The most skilled infiltrators and fighters came from this squad. The fact that all the ANBU commanders of Konoha were chosen from this squad was a proof of how skilled this squad was. To think he became a captain at such a young age was astonishing. Where had the blonde boy he had seen a few years back disappeared to? "Naruto, why are you just standing there? You wanted to ask him questions a few years back, why are you not even a little angry at him for hurting your Uchiha friend?" asked Kurama curiously. "Because he and I are the same, we are the same devils born due to Konoha's mistakes," said Naruto calmly. A few years back he didn't want to ask Itachi questions and hurt him for giving Sasuke so much pain, but now when he had gone through the same thing as Itachi had, he understood what true pain was, and he understood the raven-haired Uchiha perfectly. In a way both of them could understand each other's pain. "I want to ask you something," asked Itachi patiently. "What?" asked Naruto seriously. "I do not see any hatred for me in your eyes. Why is that so? You are an Uchiha too, why don't you hate me for slaughtering the clan?" asked Itachi curiously. "There is no reason for me to hate you, the Uchiha were never my family, you killed those whom I didn't know. The fact that you are still on Konoha's side shows there was a conspiracy with the Uchiha incident, wasn't there, Itachi?" asked Naruto with a knowing look in his eyes. Itachi's eyes truly widened in shock as he realized that Naruto knew the truth. Did the Hokage tell him? Naruto saw the tension rising and decided to halt it immediately. It was pointless to argue over something that had already happened, and fighting Itachi in his condition was not an option, nor did he want to fight for people who were already dead. "I killed Danzo," and got the truth out of him, lied Naruto without even blinking an eye. Even though he knew Itachi was a loyal shinobi, he was trained never to trust anyone blindly. He would never reveal the truth that he had killed Koharu and got the info to anyone. So that's how it is, said Itachi calmly, and prepared to fight. He couldn't afford to let this secret out. However, before he could start a fight, Naruto sat down on the roof and calmly looked at the sky. There is no reason for us to fight. I have no interest in what you did. We both are murderers, and no matter what reasons we had, the fact is both of us are nothing more than sacrificial pawns, said Naruto coldly. Itachi listened to Naruto carefully, and lowered his kunai. What had the boy gone through to make him so cold-hearted? Had he gone through the same hell? So you don't judge me for my actions? Asked Itachi flatly. I have no right to judge you, when I did the same damn thing as you. Anyone who has raised his hand against his own comrades meets a painful end. What are we? Despite being Konoha shinobi, we killed Konoha shinobi with our hands. There is no salvation for worthless soldiers like us, said Naruto stoically. Itachi sat beside his new partner. He had known Naruto's parents. He still remembered Naruto's mother Kushina. She and Mikoto were good friends, and many times he had met her and Minato. To think that their son was reduced to this was a really sad thing, but this was the world of ninja. Self-sacrifice was the way of a true ninja. But still he could not afford to get attached to any person, no matter who he was. Please be wary of me, said Itachi coldly, and activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto turned around and looked Itachi straight in the eye, and his Sharingan changed into Mangekyo Sharingan. The same goes for you, said Naruto dangerously. The strongest tag team had been formed. Konoha. All the people in the room watched in shock. As Sasuke went away, the people who were affected the most were Ino and Sakura, as this was the first time they had seen him cry. I never imagined he was this close to Naruto, said Shikamaru in surprise. Hiruzen decided it was enough for now. The genin had known enough. There was no need to give them further information. However, when he looked at Kurenai's face, his heart broke. The tears in her eyes had not stopped, and now it seemed she had begun to understand how terrible Naruto's childhood was. Anko was not convinced. She was not able to believe that the boy she loved as her brother could do such a thing. Even if Naruto had a reason to betray Konoha, he was still not strong enough to kill 300 ANBU. Or was he? There were so many things she did not know, and she wanted to know the answers. Even Asuma had the same thoughts. She had trained Naruto in taijutsu, but still, even if he was a chunin, he could not take on an entire ANBU force, and steal the forbidden scroll so easily. It just didn't make any sense to her. What should we do? Asked Sakura sadly. Her team was shattered. Naruto was gone, Sasuke was gone, Kurenai was broken. The only ones left were her and Anko. She looked at the purple-haired woman. She didn't know what to do now. Anko looked at the pink-haired genin. She knew it must be a lot for her to bear, not just Sakura but all the rookies. It was enough for them to hear in one day. It will be all right, we will figure something out. Right now, you go home and take some rest. We'll visit Sasuke afterwards, said Anko gently. Hi, Anko-sensei, said Sakura sadly. But Naruto-kun said Hinata, but was cut off when Hiruzen spoke firmly. All genins are now dismissed. Go take some rest, you have been told what you need to know, said Hiruzen seriously. What about Naruto? Asked Chuji worriedly. That I will decide. Now I'm ordering you to leave now, said Hiruzen sternly. All the genins looked at each other. It seemed that they didn't have any choice, but still Hinata was not accepting that Naruto could do such a thing. Hiruzen looked at them sternly, and the genin dejectedly bowed before him, and slowly started leaving the room. Sakura and Hinata's hearts were broken. One had just lost her entire team, while the other had lost the person she loved. Kiba looked angry, not at Naruto, but at the villagers, and himself, for not being able to understand him. Maybe if he had been there for his friend, Naruto would not have been forced on this path. Shikamaru still looked unconvinced. there was something fishy about all this. But if the things he had seen about Naruto's childhood were true, then his friend definitely had a clear motive to destroy the village. The question was, did he possess the power to do it? Chuji was trying his best to comfort a crying Ino. Both of them felt very sad after finding out Naruto's story. One thing was clear: they had lost the respect for the people of Konoha. Shino's shoulders were slumped. He had failed. Out of all the Konoha 11, he was the one who could relate to Naruto and his pain, even though he was antagonized by some people due to the bugs in his body, and yet he had failed to help his first friend. He still remembered Naruto was the first person who became his friend, and brought him in the group. He had failed to save his best friend. All in all, the rookies had suffered a major setback as their close friend was a traitor now. Naruto was the center of their group. Even Sasuke and Shino, the two most antisocial people, were his friends, and now everything had fallen apart. Enko watched sadly as the young teens went out of the room. She looked at Kurenai. Her friend was broken. Enko had enough. She wanted answers right now. This is ridiculous. There is no way the brat can kill so many ANBU, and steal the forbidden scroll. Stop lying, said Enko furiously. To-san, I agree with her. Naruto is strong but not powerful enough to kill ANBU, said Asuma firmly. Kurenai's hands were clenched tightly, her anger rising. She was pissed. The villagers had done such an atrocity to Naruto, and even if they had done such a thing, she could never forgive Naruto for such a genocide. Did I mean nothing to him? Did you even think how I would feel? Thought Kurenai sadly. All the moments she had with Naruto, all their feelings, was his quest for revenge more important than her? She had been there for him, she had trained him, loved him, gave her body, her soul. She gave him everything and just wanted him to love her in return. What was I to you, Naruto? Thought Kurenai bitterly. Somewhere deep in her heart, the love which she had for him was no longer there now. Something in her mind was commanding her to kill Naruto for betraying her. She felt betrayed. Naruto could have lived with her. She would have done anything for him. Kurenai would have stood by him all his life. She would have filled his life with love, but nothing was left now. Kakashi, Enko, Asuma and Kurenai, you don't know what happened that night, said Hiruzen sadly. He knew he had to make these people believe that Naruto was a traitor. It was necessary for the mission. If Kakashi, Enko and Kurenai accepted Naruto as a traitor too, then Hiruzen knew the enemy was sure to make its move. The rookies were almost convinced, and the only people left were these four. It wouldn't be too much trouble to convince Asuma. The only obstacle in the way was Kakashi. That man was very sharp, and Hiruzen would have to play his cards right, or Kakashi would easily find out. But something seemed off. There was something wrong about Kakashi. He was showing signs of concern on his face from the start, but Hiruzen knew when a person was faking his emotions. It was time he had a talk with the masked man. Kakashi, I need to have a word with you in private, said Hiruzen sternly. But said Kurenai bitterly. Now Jounin, said Hiruzen angrily. Enko grumpily took Kurenai out of the room, followed by Asuma and Inoichi, leaving Kakashi and Hiruzen alone in the room. Hiruzen made a hand seal and activated the silencing seals in the room quickly, and immediately Kakashi was in front of him, and grabbed his collar. Kakashi, what is the meaning of this? Asked Hiruzen sternly. Hiruzen watched in surprise as Kakashi uplifted his headband that covered his Sharingan, and instead of a 3-tomo Sharingan there was a Mangekyo Sharingan in its place. But more shocking was the words that Kakashi said. I know what you did, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hiruzen stared in shock, as he was just staring at Kakashi's Mangekyo Sharingan. When did he activate it? So many questions were running through his mind. If Kakashi had found out about the truth, then he was in trouble. Hiruzen knew each Mangekyo Sharingan had a unique power, and since he didn't know what Kakashi's Mangekyo could do, it was not a good option to start a fight. More importantly, Kakashi was one of his most trusted shinobi, so he couldn't afford to lose him, not when they had a war looming over their heads. He had to make Kakashi see reason no matter what. I don't know what you are saying, said Hiruzen calmly, but Kakashi's gaze hardened even more and he tightened his grip on Hiruzen's collars. I have no time for your bullshit. I'll ask you again, why did you give Naruto a suicide mission? More importantly, where is his daughter? Asked Kakashi seriously. It was already done, Hiruzen sighed tiredly. Kakashi had found out the truth and now there was no going back. However, one of the things Kakashi said was incorrect. I'll tell you everything, but first calm down. There are a lot of things going on, Kakashi, said Hiruzen patiently. Kakashi looked at Hiruzen one more time, and the old man gave him a truthful look, so he released his collar and was now standing in front of Hiruzen. Talk, said Kakashi angrily. He didn't care if Hiruzen was the Hokage. Naruto was not his adopted brother but more like his own son. And to find out that he was sacrificed for the village so horribly was more than Kakashi could take. Naruto and Anko were the most important people in his life, and now one of them was in danger. Naruto is right now on an infiltration mission. It is true that he killed the entire Root ANBU force, including Danzo Shimura, on my orders, said Hiruzen truthfully. A sad look appeared on Kakashi's face as he thought about the psychological trauma that Naruto must have gone through. ANBU was not something that anyone could handle, and Kakashi knew this better than anyone. He had served as an ANBU captain too, and the things he had seen and what he did still haunted him. And what Naruto did would haunt him for the rest of his life. The scars would forever be etched on his soul. How did he get the Mangekyo Sharingan? Asked Kakashi quietly. He knew how he got his Mangekyo and that memory still haunted him. The pain, the guilt of killing Rin haunted him till this day. He killed his best friend in Root, said Hiruzen sadly. Kakashi's eyes widened in shock. Could Naruto really do such a thing? Now he knew why he always seemed depressed. He was shouldering so much burden all alone. Seeing the look in Kakashi's eyes, Hiruzen decided to clarify. You have to kill your best friend in Root in order to become a true shinobi. Danzo set Naruto up with his best friend, but Naruto couldn't kill him. Instead, his friend deliberately made Naruto kill him, said Hiruzen truthfully. So that's how it was, said Kakashi slowly. A part of him felt relieved that Naruto didn't kill his friend intentionally, but still Kakashi could understand exactly how Naruto must be feeling. Naruto had joined Root very early, in order to find out what Danzo was planning. At the age of 10, that boy could see the dangers Danzo would put Konoha in. In a way, Naruto is the same as his father. Both of them had the ability to predict what lies in the future, explained Hiruzen proudly. I know, said Kakashi with a small smile. He had seen what abilities Naruto had. Naruto was just like his father, with a few different personality traits. He became the youngest ANBU captain in the history of Konoha and performed dangerous missions on Danzo's orders. Kakashi, you must understand, Naruto was never a child. He stopped being a kid the day when you found him in the hospital. The trauma he suffered due to the discrimination by the villagers killed every innocence in him. The fact that he always wants to shoulder every burden alone is a fact of that, said Hiruzen seriously. Now I understand. He was always so quiet, always coming late at night. I just wish he could have told me. He is not my adoptive brother, Hiruzen. He is more like my son, said Kakashi honestly. That is the reason he never told you anything, nor anyone else, said Hiruzen, surprising Kakashi. I don't understand, said Kakashi with a frown. He loved you and everyone else like his real family, so he didn't want to put any of you in danger. He shouldered this burden alone. He is a true shinobi. He even tried to stop Danzo's coup, but his comrades did not agree with him and blindly wanted to follow Danzo. If Root had revolted, then Konoha would be facing a great civil war, which would have destroyed this village, explained Hiruzen briefly. So you could have done something about it. Why throw everything alone on his shoulders? He is not a pawn, said Kakashi angrily. I know that, but only he could do this mission. It was not just about stopping Root, but its main objective is draw Konoha's biggest traitor out, said Hiruzen angrily. What? Asked Kakashi in shock. There were only two traitors he knew. One was Orochimaru and the other was Itachi. Yes, it's exactly as you think. The real objective of Operation Ghost is to find out what Orochimaru is up to. I have been getting sketchy reports of an invasion being planned against Konoha. We suspect Suna is involved too. Many missing ninjas are being hired. But if my instincts are correct, Orochimaru is behind this. Even Jiraiya has not found any information about him. I needed someone inside Orochimaru's forces. It couldn't have just been a random spy because he could not have gotten close to Orochimaru, said Hiruzen seriously. So you declared Naruto as a traitor. He is not only a Jinchuriki but also the son of the fourth Hokage. He has the Uchiha as well as the Uzumaki blood in his veins, the perfect weapon. The fact that he killed so many ANBU on his own and stole the forbidden scroll would make him famous among criminals, which would ultimately draw Orochimaru out and offer him to join his forces in destroying Konoha, said Kakashi sharply. Now all of it made sense to him. This plan was ingenious, but Orochimaru was not someone you would mess with. He was a monster. Even if Naruto was strong, Kakashi knew he was not strong enough to take on Orochimaru himself, if things went downhill. Orochimaru was a Sannin, a Kage-level ninja. Even Danzo was nowhere near his level. If Orochimaru found out about Naruto's real mission, then yes, Naruto would be killed. If Orochimaru even got a wind of his truth, that is why I am trying so hard to make you, Kurenai, and the others close to him believe that he is a traitor. There are sleeper agents in this village. They would immediately try to observe your behavior to find out if you too believe Naruto to be a traitor, and if you accepted him as a traitor too, then their belief would be firm that Naruto is Konoha's enemy and a powerful ally for Orochimaru. This would lead him to Naruto, explained Hiruzen truthfully. But what purpose does Naruto have to destroy Konoha? Orochimaru surely would try to find out Naruto's reasons first before making his step, said Kakashi thoughtlessly. He was so engrossed in the plan that he could not see the obvious truth. Have you forgotten what the village did to Naruto? Asked Hiruzen flatly. Kakashi's eyes widened on hearing that, the discrimination, the beatings, the glares, the isolation. All of this was enough to make Naruto hate Konoha, and Orochimaru must have known that. The plan now entirely made sense to him, but still. He volunteered for this, Kakashi. He wanted to protect Konoha, but more than that, he wanted to keep all of you safe. He killed every feeling in his heart for his precious people. Naruto cried tears of blood and slaughtered his comrades, his teachers, his commander. With each kill a part of his heart died, but he kept on going for your sakes. Do you want to make his sacrifice go in vain? Asked Hiruzen sadly. A small tear slipped from Kakashi's eyes as he understood the pain, the suffering that Naruto must have gone through. He couldn't imagine how horrible it must be to see every person you loved looking at you like a traitor. Everyone was calling Naruto a monster, a traitor. You truly became an ANBU, fighting in the shadows. I'm proud of you, thought Kakashi with a small smile. He remembered it was Naruto's dream to become an ANBU, and it seemed he had finally achieved his dream. Even if he knew what Naruto was doing, it was necessary for the survival of Konoha and all of them. I won't let him die, Kakashi. I promise you, I'll bring him back alive. I have even sent him reinforcement in place of the comrade he lost during his mission. Believe in him, Kakashi. He is a hero of this village. You were the first person to accept him, you raised him. Believe in your son, Kakashi, pleaded Hiruzen. Kakashi's eyes shifted to the ring on his finger. Anko had accepted to marry him, and the ring on his hand was proof of that. He remembered it was Naruto who pushed him to go for Anko. He always cared for him and never let any burden fall on him. Minato would be proud of his son. Despite the pain in his heart, Naruto never gave up. The times he and Naruto had spent together flashed in his mind. Their meals at the ramen stand, waiting in line for purchasing the new edition of Ika Ika series, going to the memorial stone together and paying respect to their beloved ones. Every time Naruto had been there for him, stood by him and gave him support. What was the deal with Naruto? He was still a mystery to him, and probably will always be a mystery to him. You really are something else. It's my turn to believe in you and stand by your side, thought Kakashi proudly. I understand why he is doing this, I don't like it, but he has always been there for me and I won't let him down. I'm in Hokage-sama, said Kakashi seriously. Good, at least you can see the big picture. I know there are risks, but we are shinobi and this is what all of us have to face. Naruto will succeed. I'm sure of it, said Hiruzen confidently. Hokage-sama, but how will you make the others believe? Surely, you are not thinking about telling them the truth, are you? Asked Kakashi seriously. No, Naruto has left behind enough proof to make the others believe that he is a traitor. It would be enough to make them believe. I know it must be horrible for Kurenai the most, but this harsh time will pass, Kakashi. We will have a bright future, and one day all of us including Naruto would be living happily, said Hiruzen with a smile. Hi, said Kakashi firmly. Now, if you don't mind me asking, why do you possess a Mangekyo Sharingan? Asked Hiruzen seriously. I'll tell you, but not now, said Kakashi quietly. Hiruzen looked at the masked man. Every Mangekyo has a sad story behind it, and he didn't want to make Kakashi more depressed. He was just glad he was able to make Kakashi see reason, and get him on his side. Even if Kakashi had only accepted it for Naruto's sake, it was still a great relief to Hiruzen. Fighting a pissed-off Kakashi was one of the last things he would like to do. Kakashi then suddenly remembered something important, and decided to ask Hiruzen about it. What about his daughter? Asked Kakashi curiously. Hiruzen bit his lip. Now came the hard part, a serious issue had arisen. She is dead. Flashback, 3 days ago. He ran through the dark corridors of the now destroyed root base. Everywhere around were dead bodies. Blood was flowing like a river on the floor of the base. The smell was sickening, and if not for his years of training, he would have immediately thrown up. It was a total massacre. This was one of the darkest nights in the history of Konoha, and he had been a first-hand witness to this madness. Yamato never imagined that such a day would come, when he would have to see so many Leaf Shinobi be killed by one of their own. Was this really worth it? Had these men just died in vain for one man's madness? Then he remembered some words that the third Hokage had said to him, when he had become the ANBU commander. All it takes to change the course of history is the will of a single man. It was really true, but in this case there were two men who were fighting to change the destiny of Konoha. One of them was Naruto, while the other was Danzo. He firmly believed that Naruto would emerge victorious, and he was quite impressed by the boy's resolve. Looking at the side, he noticed one of his clones was carrying the body of the now deceased Sai Satu, former Root ANBU, in his arms. You really saved all of us today, Sai, thought Yamato gratefully. Now the only thing left to do was save this person Naruto had told him about. He really was confused. Why was Naruto so persistent to spare this ANBU? There is a small turning up ahead on the right. It must be just a few meters away, said Yamato's clone seriously. Alright, keep your eyes open, there may be hostiles nearby, said Yamato firmly. Yamato and his clone reached around the corner, and quickly took a turn on the right. Yamato had his sword drawn and was ready to attack if there was any enemy left. After a few moments of running, he saw some light ahead. He observed more carefully and now he could clearly see there was a large puddle of water. There was some ice around it too, indicating the water must have been formed due to the melting of the ice. He wondered if some ANBU had a Hayaton bloodline. It was highly unlikely, but anything was possible in their world. But his beliefs were proven to be incorrect, when he saw a person lying in the center of the puddle of water. Now there were many dead bodies around, but this person was special. It was a child, and Yamato's sharp eyes immediately recognized the blonde hair. Could it be? His senses were telling him that this was his target. He and his clone rushed ahead quickly, and now he clearly saw this was a small girl. But one look on the girl's face made him realize why Naruto could not kill this girl and had asked them to spare her. She had almost the same face as Naruto, albeit with some good feminine features. Her hair was even silkier than Naruto's. She barely looked 6 to 7 years old, and had ANBU uniform on her body. Yamato instantly felt a little angry. It was important to protect Konoha, but turning such small children into ANBU soldiers was unacceptable to him. "Takis, is she the one?" asked his clone hesitantly. Yamato was just about to answer his clone, when his eyes widened in shock as he realized the girl was not breathing at all. "Get your ass over here now," said Yamato quickly. His clone instantly complied and laid Sai's body on the ground, and rushed towards his caster. The clone touched the girl's body and it was cold. "She is so cold, we need to get her to the medics," said the clone quickly. The clone then started to perform medical ninjutsu right above the girl's chest but was halted as Yamato grabbed his hand. "What are you doing?" asked the clone seriously. "It's already over, she is dead," said Yamato sadly. The clone's eyes widened in shock. How could this be? There were just minor injuries on the girl's body, and nothing was lethal enough to kill her. He checked the girl's pulse but couldn't find one. The clone looked in shock. As Yamato pointed around the area, there were pieces of big wood scattered all over the area. That only meant one thing: this girl had just used Mokuton when she was not ready for it. There is not a feint of chakra left in her body. It has already been more than a few minutes since she has died from chakra exhaustion, said Yamato regretfully. "But said the clone in protest. "Mokuton is not something anyone could handle, even though we were not able to use it till we reached a certain age. This girl must have been ordered to stop Naruto at all costs, and by looking at the destruction around I can fairly say she used that jutsu," said Yamato seriously. "It's impossible, even we cannot do that jutsu without spending more than 80% of our chakra," said the clone in disbelief. World of Trees ninjutsu of Mokuton was one of the strongest arsenal in the Shodai Hokage's attacks. Even we cannot perform the jutsu effectively. What chance did this girl have of surviving after using such a dangerous ninjutsu? Asked Yamato flatly. "Is there nothing we can do for her?" asked the clone quietly. Yamato knew this night had just turned out to be worse than a nightmare. He remembered Naruto's warning that if anything happened to this girl then he would destroy Konoha. The boy had almost unleashed the 9 tails tonight. He was clearly not fully in control of his emotions. The shock of killing so many of his comrades had almost broken him, and if not for Sai's sacrifice Konoha would be living the nightmare that happened a few years ago again. If Naruto found out that his daughter was dead, Yamato feared what the boy would do. He had just gone 5 tails state a few minutes ago, and if this truth came out then their worst fears would come true. He knew it was just another hour or so before Naruto would defeat Danzo and head back to check on his daughter. In 60 minutes, he had just 60 minutes to make a decision that would determine the destiny of Konoha and the shinobi world. It all came down to his thinking. If he made one wrong move the world would be facing a far greater avenger than Madara Uchiha himself, and he doubted anyone could defeat Naruto if his hatred went out of control. "What should we do?" asked his clone worriedly. Yamato quickly performed his hand seals, and placed his hands on the ground, and there was a puff of smoke. There was a small hawk standing in front of both of them. Yamato immediately took out a small scroll, and the clone watched as his caster immediately wrote something on the scroll. He then tied the scroll on the hawk's feet and it disappeared in a puff of smoke. Minutes passed and both the men thought about their options. The situation was dangerous and they were on thin ice. They could hear faint sounds of battle from a far corner in the base where Naruto and Danzo were fighting. Yamato had already informed the Hokage of this new development, but it would take time for orders to come, and until then he was in charge. "After Operation Ghost, I'm quitting ANBU," said Yamato tiredly. His clone just nodded silently. Yamato had been an ANBU for years and it was well past his time to retire. He had already served more than 8 years in this outfit, which was far more than many others had lasted. This job was highly risky and tense. The traumas ANBU suffered were enough to make any normal person go insane. "Alright, we'll take both of these bodies out. You put Sai in a body bag, while I'll handle Naruto on my own," said Yamato firmly. "I just hope this plan works," thought Yamato worriedly. Present time, Hokage's office. Kakashi stared in shock. As Hiruzen narrated the truth about the massacre and the casualties they had suffered, to find that Naruto's daughter was now dead was a major blow. After that, the ANBU commander put a genjutsu on Rei as well as her surroundings, making Naruto believe that she was alive but unconscious. He did his best to stay calm and normal. Naruto barely had any energy left, and it was a miracle he was standing. As a result, he could not see through the genjutsu, and fortunately the plan worked, said Hiruzen briefly. Kakashi was in shock. He didn't know how Naruto was going to react to this. He was already bearing so much pain, and he doubted Naruto could survive such a devastating blow. You said Danzo created her from Naruto's cells with Orochimaru's help. Wouldn't Naruto find out the truth from Orochimaru if they ever met? Asked Kakashi solemnly. Hiruzen then took out a small diary from his desk and handed it to Kakashi. This is Danzo's personal journal in which some of his activities have been mentioned. It was not easy to get it. We had to raid his base in order to find out everything. Danzo never told Orochimaru that the genes were of Naruto. Yes, Orochimaru would have found out that they had Uchiha as well as Uzumaki DNA in it, but he does not know that Minato was from the Uchiha clan, so we can rest assured that Orochimaru does not know that Naruto has the Sharingan, less Rei's father. That is the only good news I've heard in days, Kakashi, said Hiruzen tiredly. What should we do now? Should we tell Naruto? Said Kakashi hesitantly but was cut off. Absolutely not. Are you insane? We would have another Madara on our hands, and this time there is no Hashirama Senju to stop him. Naruto is already on the edge of a breakdown. Revealing this would drive him insane with guilt and he would fall to the Uchiha's curse of hatred, said Hiruzen furiously. But she is his daughter, said Kakashi in protest. Naruto had a right to know. No, you must understand. I cannot tell Naruto that his daughter is no more, and we failed to save her. He would unleash the nine-tailed fox on this village. A lot of things are on the line in Kakashi. Do you know Naruto almost lost control and went 5 tails during the mission, said Hiruzen seriously. What, said Kakashi in horror. Yes, imagine the guilt of killing his comrades made him go this far. Now what would happen if he found out what happened to his own flesh and blood, asked Hiruzen sharply. He would go nuts, said Kakashi honestly. This operation is already on thin ice. Naruto's comrade had to die to stop him from going on a rampage. I cannot afford such a blunder now. It is not only dangerous for Konoha but more for Naruto. He wouldn't be able to live with this truth, explained Hiruzen seriously. Then what do we do? Asked Kakashi sadly, even though he knew it was best if Naruto never found this truth or he was gone for good. I have already destroyed all evidence that was proof of Rei's existence. Her body has been buried in a secret location with all proper respect, and her Sharingan has been preserved. I'm declaring this event as an Z-Class Black Ops secret with only me, you, and the ANBU commander knowing of this. Kakashi, you must swear never to reveal this truth. We have to bear this burden and take it to our graves for Naruto's sake and his sanity, said Hiruzen worriedly. Kakashi thought about everything. Z-Class secrets were secrets that were forever buried. And it would be forever lost as the people who knew it died with the passage of time. If he wanted Naruto to have a normal life someday, this truth would have to be hidden from him. If Kurenai found out about this, then their already destroyed relationship would have slim to no chance of reconciling. Hi, said Kaksahi reluctantly, sometimes they had to make a deal with the devil himself. And now Kakashi had just made a great sacrifice for Naruto's sake, as hiding this truth from him would forever burden Kakashi. But how will you convince Naruto? Asked Kakashi silently. Hiruzen looked at the village and the people in it. He knew what he was doing was right as a Hokage and he wanted to keep Naruto sane, but still this was painful for him too. The things he had to order as the leader of the village still haunted his soul. But he was ready to pay the price, even if it meant he would have to spend all eternity in the Shinigami's belly in the afterlife. We will wipe out Rei's memory from his mind forever, and I have the perfect man ready to do this job. Naruto sat at the banks of a small lake in the forest. It was night time and the moon was shining brightly in the sky. His blue eyes gazed at the calm light that the moon was providing. It looked so peaceful. No noises, no people, it was just him and nature all by themselves. The cool breeze of wind that was hitting his chest was making him relaxed, and he wanted to feel comfortable for a little while. It had been 10 days since he had arrived at Nono's house, and a week since he was declared as a traitor. By now, he knew Kurenai and the others must have known what he had done. His wounds were now healed, but his eyesight was deteriorating with each passing day. Nono had started working on the procedure to form an artificial cornea to stop his blindness, but it was going to take time. But the worst was his disease. It was getting worse with each passing day. Violent coughing of blood, severe headaches, and body pain were the primary symptoms. Nono had strictly warned him not to use the Mangekyo anymore, or get in big fights, or else he would just shorten up his life. She wanted him to just recover, but that was not possible. This was the last night because tomorrow he would set out with Itachi to finish his mission. He didn't know what to think of Itachi. For a man who killed his own family, Itachi was very calm and there were no signs of regret on his face. Either he was very good at emotions, or there were no emotions left in him. Naruto wondered if Itachi cried when he killed his parents. Had he felt the same despair that he was feeling? I am grateful my parents are not alive, at least they don't have to see what I have turned into, thought Naruto regretfully. How are you feeling? Asked Kurama slowly. He had started to talk with his partner again. Talking with the beast helped ease his pain. Kurama understood him more than anyone. Naruto was grateful for having such a friend. I'm alive, if that's what you are asking, said Naruto calmly. How long are you going to stay like this? You need to let go, advised Kurama strictly. It doesn't matter, we will be going out tomorrow, and complete the mission, said Naruto nonchalantly. Kurama then decided to ask something that had been bugging him for many days. What about the genjutsu that you casted on Kurenai? Asked Kurama seriously. He did not receive any answer from Naruto, as he just looked at the sky with a lost look in his eyes. I have removed the genjutsu, said Naruto calmly, after a few minutes. What? Asked Kurama in shock. He didn't understand how he could do that. You heard me, I have removed the genjutsu that I casted on her, said Naruto again. How is this possible? You have never met her since that night when you casted the genjutsu? Asked Kurama curiously. Have you forgotten what the Mangekyo Sharingan can do? Asked Naruto stoically. Kurama then wondered what Naruto meant, but after a few moments he realized what Naruto was trying to say as he remembered what had happened when he had attacked Konoha. I can command anyone with my Mangekyo to do what I like. It is not necessary that every time I have to be around that person. Their mind belongs to me, no matter where I am. I can release the genjutsu if I don't want it any longer, explained Naruto seriously. So, she will not kill you? Asked Kurama quickly. The genjutsu ordered her to kill me. Now that she has regained her consciousness, she will have to decide what path she chooses, said Naruto sadly. And what path do you mean? Asked Kurama sternly. Either she will hate me forever and will try to kill me. Kurenai, despite everything, is a loyal shinobi of Konoha. She hates traitors and each person that wants to harm the village and the people she loves. In a way, her love for Konoha is greater than my hatred for Danzo, said Naruto simply. Does she love the village that much? Asked Kurama in shock. Yes, her father died to protect the village. She inherited his will of fire and has sworn to defend the village until her last breath. And now I am enemy of Konoha, so the choice is obvious, said Naruto seriously. But she loves you, and will try to get you back, argued Kurama in protest. Do you have any idea what I have done? I have broken her trust, she gave me everything, and now I have spitted on her love with my actions. No matter what righteous reasons I give, I have broken her heart, said Naruto angrily. Naruto, if she chooses to hate you, and comes to kill you, what will you do? Asked Kurama worriedly. Naruto closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. He had thought about this, he knew her better than anyone, and he loved her the most in the world. Naruto couldn't imagine how much pain she was in right now. How were the villagers treating her? Her pain was no less than his, and he was the source of her agony. Hiruzen must have sent Rei to her, and Naruto knew his daughter would ease Kurenai's pain a little, as a child always brings light in a person's life. That was his plan from the start. Rei would find a good mother in Kurenai, while Kurenai would find someone whom she could love again, and someone who would never break her trust. And even if he died during the mission, his death would only affect their lives for some time, and after that they could live in peace. That was the deal he had made with Hiruzen. In exchange for sacrificing himself, he had warned the Hokage that nothing should happen to either of the girls. Kurenai and Rei were the only hope that he had, they were his salvation and the only good thing he had done in his life. He would sacrifice anything to give them a safe and happy future. For their tomorrow he would happily give his today, no matter how much they may hate him. "I'll bear the burden of her hatred and die by her hands," said Naruto seriously. "You can't be serious." "What about Rei?" asked Kurama angrily. "I have done all I could do to give her a good life. She would be better off not knowing me and what I did. I was prepared for this, Kurama. If they forgive me and give me a chance, which is highly unlikely, then I would do everything possible to gain their love back. But if they hate me, then I will repay them with my life for all the pain and misery I caused them. That's all there is to it," said Naruto firmly. Kurama was just about to persuade Naruto, when someone else came by and sat beside Naruto. "What are you doing here, Itachi?" asked Naruto seriously. The older Uchiha looked at Naruto calmly, and then again started looking back at their reflection in the water. "How did you get to Mangekyo?" asked Itachi seriously. Naruto gave a suspicious look to his partner, but if he had to work with this man, it was time he started trusting him a little. "The way that is written on the Uchiha tablet," said Naruto seriously. Itachi's eyebrows raised for a second, and he looked at Naruto in surprise. How did he know about the tablet? "Sasuke," said Itachi calmly, as he realized his little brother must have told Naruto about it. Both the men just sat there calmly, enjoying the peaceful atmosphere until Naruto decided to ask something. "Itachi, do you have any regrets for your actions?" asked Naruto quietly. Itachi gave a tired sigh. He didn't have any grudge against Naruto. He had seen the boy for the past few days. He was broken and really needed someone who could guide him. Otherwise it would just be a matter of time before he broke. "Ka-san, what should I do?" thought Itachi tiredly. Naruto was the son of his mother's best friend. In a way they were family by blood too, as Naruto was an Uchiha. Itachi wondered what his mother would do, if she was in this position. "No, I have no regrets," said Itachi stoically. This surprised Naruto a little. Just how cold was this man? "Before we embark on the mission, I want to make one thing clear. You will not torture Sasuke anymore," said Naruto fiercely. Itachi looked at Naruto curiously. Just how close was Naruto to his little brother? "What is he to you?" asked Itachi curiously. "He is like a brother to me, and I have tried to ease his mind off revenge for years." "Don't make things worse," said Naruto seriously. Itachi just got a small smirk on his face. He was really happy to hear that Sasuke at least had someone who cared for him, and looked after him in his place. "How is he?" asked Itachi slowly. "Most of the times he is a stuck-up emo prick, but he is a nice guy if you get to know the real Sasuke. He cares for his comrades and wants to rebuild the Uchiha clan," said Naruto truthfully. "I understand," said Itachi with a little bit of gratitude in his voice. He then decided to ask Naruto something. It had been years since he had talked with anyone freely. And talking with Naruto was making him feel good. The fact that Sasuke was living a good life was a great relief for him. Maybe his brother would follow the right path, and bring the Uchiha back. How wrong he was. "Do you have someone that is important to you?" asked Itachi silently. "Yes, I have," said Naruto with a small smile. Silence again followed between both the ANBU captains, until Itachi spoke. "It's been 7 years, you start to forget the things you should remember," said Itachi sadly. Naruto remembered the good times he spent with the rookies, the academy, Kurenai and his dates with her. It seemed like a century, and with each passing day he felt that those events never happened, while Itachi thought about his good time with Sasuke and his mother. "And you can't stop remembering the things you should forget," said Itachi in a whisper. Naruto's heart broke a little. Faces of Sai, Shin, and many of his friends who were now dead flashed in front of his eyes. He could never forget them, no matter how far he ran, these faces always came in front of his eyes. The moment of their death was forever burned in his brain. For Itachi, he could not forget the moment when he killed his parents. It was the most painful thing he had to do. Itachi slowly got up and was now standing firmly. His black cloak was flying freely in the air along with his ponytail. He took out his black wolf mask and looked at it with a small smile on his face. "We always had the power, but not anymore. All we have is each other," said Naruto firmly, as he got up and looked at the lake in front of them. He also took out his new Falcon ANBU mask that Nono had created for him, since his old one was destroyed during the mission. "We are ANBU, fighting for something, for which we will never be remembered," said Itachi firmly. Naruto nodded, indicating he understood his point, as they would never get any praise or glory for their sacrifices. Their names would vanish with the passage of time. "Ninja stand against their enemies, but ANBU haunts them," said Naruto seriously and put on his Falcon ANBU mask. He was ready, he was a ninja, he would fight for his country till his last breath no matter what happened. He would bear Kurenai's hatred and would try to ease her pain as much as he could. "Listen to me, Naruto, no matter what pain we have to face, we will fight till our last breath, and no matter what obstacles we may run into, never abandon your will, and fight by my side as a shinobi of Konoha," ordered Itachi seriously. Naruto just looked at Itachi in wonder. He really was impressed with Itachi's words. Maybe having a captain like Itachi would make the mission successful. Meanwhile, Itachi was facing a great emotional turmoil. The thing he was about to do was unforgivable, but he had to do it. He had been ordered, and he knew what he was doing was the right thing. He would not let another Madara be born and destroy Konoha. "I cannot let you fall into hatred, forgive me," thought Itachi sadly. Itachi then turned around, and Naruto's eyes widened in shock as Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan activated in his left eye. Koto Amatsukami. Naruto walked slowly on the road. He was wearing a black cloak and ANBU pants, his feet were covered by combat boots and his face was hidden by a blue face mask. His blonde hair was flowing freely in the cool air. He had to admit this place could become a good tourist spot. There was a sea nearby, and the place he was going to was the most troubled country right now. "Why are we going there, Naruto?" asked Kurama seriously. Naruto had noticed something strange. He remembered talking with Kurama and Itachi yesterday, but Kurama had become a lot more quiet than before and only talked when necessary. It looked as if he was hiding something. "Nah, he is too dumb to hide something," thought Naruto nonchalantly. "I heard that," said Kurama irritatingly. He knew what he was doing. "Sigh, okay, we are going to Wave Country," said Naruto calmly. "I know that idiot, but what purpose do that country have in this mission?" asked Kurama curiously. Wave was once a beautiful country, and its trade was prospering and it was quickly rivaling many of the tourist destination of Fire Country, said Naruto slowly. "I don't get the point," said Kurama in confusion. Since Wave was becoming a big business hub, many evil businessmen came there and started exploiting Wave and its resources for their own means with the help of mercenary ninja, said Naruto gravely. "They must have had some sort of army, wouldn't they?" "I mean, every country has an army or at least a small police force," said Kurama sharply. Wave didn't have any army. They were surrounded by sea on 3 sides, and only Fire Country shared one of their borders with them, explained Naruto briefly. "So they didn't think they'd ever need an army?" "That's foolish," said Kurama harshly. "Yes, that was their biggest blunder that led to destruction of their people," said Naruto seriously. Kurama didn't get it. They surely must have asked for help from Fire Country or Konoha. They were their neighbors. Naruto guessed what his partner was thinking and decided to explain what the Great Fire Country did. they did ask for Konoha and Fire Country's help. A bridge builder named Tazuna did come to Konoha for help, said Naruto slowly. But, asked Kurama quickly, as he knew there was some catch. He was silently assassinated by Konoha shinobi on his way back home, said Naruto darkly. What? Asked Kurama in shock. It was done on the order of the Fire Daimyo. Wave was becoming a big tourist spot and their business was affecting many tourist destinations in Fire Country, and merchants of Fire Country badly, plus the businessman who took over Wave agreed to pay a large ransom if Fire Country left Wave alone, explained Naruto darkly. That's monstrous, said Kurama angrily. The Fire Daimyo only cares about his country, and many of the luxuries and gifts he gets are from these merchants, and back then Wave was a threat to their business, so you can guess what the daimyo did, said Naruto sadly. He made Konoha kill the bridge builder and cut off all ties with Wave Country. They were left to die, said Kurama angrily. That's what Black Ops are for. Konoha is a village but ultimately we live in Fire Country, and the daimyo is the leader. Every decision that affects the Fire Country is taken by the daimyo, while Konoha is responsible for protection of Fire Country and in exchange the Fire Daimyo gives us financial support and every other things necessary. It is a mutual agreement that has been going on since the foundation of the hidden villages, explained Naruto briefly. Kurama was really surprised by this. Humans were really devious creatures, and now he understood them in more detail. So what is your purpose of coming here if this country is already destroyed? Asked Kurama curiously. It was not destroyed, but it became a safe haven for criminals, thugs and all kinds of missing ninjas. Gato Shipping Industries are the world's largest company, but now he is becoming more greedy and his eyes have now shifted to Fire Country, said Naruto briefly. Kurama just smirked. You reap what you sow. Fire Country allowed a dangerous man like Gato to act according to his will. They did gain benefit in the short run but now they were going to suffer for their mistakes. Sins of the father, said Kurama bemusedly. Yes, we have got shady reports that Gato Industries is financing the enemy in Orochimaru, and the first step of warfare is breaking an enemy's backbone. No war can be fought without money, said Naruto with a smirk. So, you are here to clean up the mess that the daimyo created? Asked Kurama with a frown. Leaders were all assholes no matter what robes they wore. Pretty much, but it's not what you think. I'm not here to kill Gato and free Wave Country, said Naruto calmly. Then what are you here for? Asked Kurama in confusion. Naruto looked at the sea in front of him. The atmosphere was calm but he knew on the other side, there were people in misery. Gato and his army had turned this place to dust. I need to send back information on Gato's defenses. He has fortified Waves with the help of missing ninjas, thugs, and even some samurai. He has his own personal army. Even I cannot just storm in there and fight everybody. Not only it would cause more civilian casualties, but Gato would escape in the meantime, and Orochimaru would get the idea that Konoha is on his trails. Before we want him to know, said Naruto seriously. Kurama was highly impressed with Naruto's tactical plan. Whatever Danzo did was inhuman, but if that man knew something, that was to make the most dangerous Black Ops soldiers. So, how are you going to get in? Asked Kurama confidently. Naruto got a smirk on his face, and channeled chakra to his feet and prepared himself. Have you forgotten who I am? Asked Naruto with a challenging tone in his voice. Kurama just sighed. His container was from the 11th Squad of ANBU forces, and was one of the most skilled infiltration Black Ops shinobi. It was a piece of cake for him. Konoha. 3 people were sitting on top of the heads of the Hokage mountain. The sun was about to set and there were some clouds in the sky. Kurenai looked at the setting sun, and wondered what she was supposed to do now. Things had become a little quiet in the village, security had been increased to maximum and there was constant patrolling done. Almost 60% of Konoha shinobi were sent to the borders as a show of their strength. They had to show the other villages they were still strong, even after a major force of their ANBU were wiped out. She had just returned from another patrol duty with Kakashi and Enko. Life had been very tough for her these days. Many people looked at her as if she was a traitor, and now she could understand what Naruto and Enko must have felt all these years, but still the Hokage had made sure that no one harmed her or did any discrimination to her, but still there were some people that now held a grudge against her, for her relationship with Naruto. "What are you thinking right now, Naruto?" thought Kurenai sadly. At first she was angry and for 4 days, she had cursed Naruto for breaking her heart. The Hokage had showed them Naruto's Chunin vest, his blood that was found from the crime site, some witness reports, and finally Naruto's letter which just said, "Goodbye." Everything was against Naruto, and his absence from the village just made the others believe that it was truly Naruto who did this genocide. Kakashi had been acting strange these days. He never read his Ika. Instead he spent most of his time at the memorial stone, and Enko had to support him these days. All these years, he had been suffering, and now he did what he wanted to do, thought Kurenai calmly. She wondered if she was in Naruto's place, what would she do? He was the son of the 4th Hokage, that man saved the village and was still considered Konoha's greatest hero. How would Naruto have felt when he came to know when his own father condemned him to a life of hell? His father was given respect, love, while he got the opposite. In a way, what Naruto was doing was his path of getting his justice against all the discrimination he had to face, and Kurenai had forgiven him for that. But now, everything had changed. No matter what we had between us, you are enemy of Konoha now, thought Kurenai firmly. "What are you thinking, Kurenai?" asked Enko curiously. She was sitting in between Kurenai and Kakashi. "We have to do what we are trained to do, that's all," said Kurenai stoically. Kakashi looked at Kurenai curiously. What was going on in her head? She had told she didn't hate Naruto despite his actions, but what would she do now? "What do you mean?" asked Kakashi suspiciously. "Kakashi, all of us have trained Naruto. You know his weaknesses more than anyone. I want to become strong, will you train me?" asked Kakashi seriously. "I have a bad feeling about this," thought Enko worriedly. "And why do you want to become strong? You are a jounin already?" asked Kakashi warily, but somehow he had a feeling what her answer might be. "I'll put Naruto out of his misery, I can't let him fall more," said Kurenai darkly. Naruto walked through the streets of Wave. The conditions the civilians were living in were worse than he had imagined. There were children begging for food on the streets, while he could see many women dressed as hookers trying to get more customers. Everywhere around him were missing ninjas and thugs. There were a few men who were working as laborers at the docks, while the guards were tormenting them. "This is hell," said Kurama in shock. "It is, we have to keep a low profile. There are just too many ninja around here," said Naruto seriously. He had hinged into a thug that he had just disposed of at the docks, and had suppressed his chakra to the maximum. Only an ANBU-level shinobi could have a chance of detecting him. Gato had almost made this island impenetrable. On 3 sides of the island 50 feet high walls had been built, and there were guards 24/7 on patrol duty. Now they could just blow up the walls, but Gato was a devious man, and had placed majority of the civilian houses near the walls, so if anyone tried to blow it, there would be catastrophic civilian casualties. And the commotion would either allow Gato to flee, or give his troops time to mobilize. He had sent 3 of his clones to examine watchtowers, and find out where the weapons and supplies of Gato's forces were located. His primary objective was to create a map of the enemy's territory, along with their troops' positions and the interval in which reinforcements could arrive. There was only one way to enter into the island, and that was through a small bridge that was connected to the docks. He had to use his camouflage jutsu to enter undetected. "Why are you doing this job alone? Where did Itachi went?" asked Kurama flatly. "He is currently working on another assignment," said Naruto nonchalantly, as he watched another patrol pass by. "And that is?" asked Kurama irritatingly. "He is trying to find out the base of the Sky Country Ninja. The Hokage has sent some of his ANBU to investigate, but they had not got any results, so it is up to us to find them out," explained Naruto. "And when you do find them, what will you do?" asked Kurama curiously. "We'll wipe out every single one of them. Both of us will take down Orochimaru's air support," said Naruto deviously. Kurama started to understand the entire plan now. It all made sense to him as more objectives started to come into the light. While Itachi finds out the Sky Ninja, you investigate Gato and his army, and send the information back to Konoha. In one strike you will eliminate majority of Orochimaru's supplies and his air support, said an impressed Kurama. Naruto decided to correct his partner as he got the wrong idea. My job is reconnaissance. Gato has a council of his advisors that help him in handling his underworld business. If you want to find the whole truth you must capture not only Gato but all of his associates to find out Orochimaru's motives, explained Naruto briefly. I believe that job will be done by Konoha and not by you, said Kurama smartly. Impressive, you are not dumb as you look. The Hokage is planning a small raid in Wave, in order to capture Gato and his associates, but this is a fortress and they need information on not only the targets but everything about Wave, said Naruto firmly. I get the navigation and guard posts, you can scout them out and make a map, but how are you going to find out where is Gato's headquarters and which men do you have to capture along with Gato, asked Kurama in confusion. Naruto slowly entered a small building. There were various thugs and a lot of women who were almost naked. I am a criminal and can easily look for employment here, and this is the place where majority of criminals open their mouths, said Naruto smartly. Are you really going to go in there? Asked Kurama in surprise. That's my job, ninja are spies and right now I have to do whatever it takes to get the job done, said Naruto firmly. You are a son of a bitch, you know that? Asked Kurama with a frown. That I am, said Naruto calmly. He then entered into one of the darkest places of mankind, a whorehouse. The first mission had already begun. Four Jounins stood in a small field. All of them were in their ninja gear and had serious looks on their faces. Kakashi was wearing a white shirt under his flak Jounin jacket, he was wearing blue jeans and sandals too. But one unique thing was he had a sword strapped on his back. This was no ordinary sword. He had used this sword during his time in ANBU, and this was the sword with which he had started teaching Naruto the art of Kenjutsu. Anko was standing beside Kakashi, and was wearing a gray shirt and dark blue shorts. She had her trademark trench coat on her back, but today she was looking very serious and was in no mood for jokes or teasing. There was a man standing beside Anko. He was a fairly well-built man with high cheekbones, thick eyebrows, and black hair cut in a bowl style. He was wearing a green spandex jumpsuit and orange leg warmers, and the standard Konoha Jounin flak jacket on his back. He was none other than Might Guy, the green beast of Konoha, and the strongest taijutsu specialist of Konoha, who was said to be on par with Tsunade Senju in taijutsu. His speed and strength were far stronger than all of his comrades. The last person was none other than Kurenai Yuhi. She was wearing a tight black shirt and black ANBU pants, her hair was neatly tied into a ponytail and there was no makeup on her face. She was wearing a white haori on her back, which had the word Captain written on it. This was none other than Task Force 1, the new first response team of Konoha. As you all know, our village has suffered a great setback, due to the actions of a former Chunin of Konoha, Naruto Hatake. He has wiped out a major portion of our ANBU forces, and stolen the Forbidden Scroll. Said Kurenai strictly, there was no remorse or pain visible on her face. It was as if she had made peace with her mind. Kurenai, thought Anko worriedly. Our remaining ANBU forces, as well as most of the special Jounin, have been moved to the front in order to send a message to the other villages, that Konoha is still the strongest hidden village in the world. Due to this, there is shortage of shinobi who have to perform special missions, and as a result the Hokage has ordered the formation of this first response team, said Kurenai seriously. First response teams were generally operational during war times, and performed hit and run raids, sabotaging enemy supplies, and cutting off important transport lines of the enemy. Kurenai, I mean Captain Kurenai, I just returned from patrol duty, so can you please tell me, what is our mission? Asked Guy seriously. Usually he would be in a cheerful mood, but these days no one was in any mood to crack jokes, and right now he was standing in front of the people who had been affected the most due to Naruto's defection. He had not met the boy, but had heard about his abilities from his eternal rival Kakashi. Looking at Kakashi made Guy leave a tired sigh. His best friend was a lot more quiet these days, and Guy just wished their old days could return, and they could have their matches again. He was even more surprised by Kurenai. She had completely changed since the last time he had seen her. Gone was the kind and gentle Kurenai, in her place was now a cold and calculative Kunoichi. Despite the trouble in her personal life, Kurenai was the most skilled genjutsu specialist of Konoha. Not even Naruto was a match for her in that art. She was highly intelligent too and had a sharp calculative mind. That is why, when Kakashi turned down the offer to become the captain of this team, she was given the role of captain. It was still a mystery as to why Kakashi had declined. But Guy knew Kakashi, his best friend, did not want to be a leader, and right now something was going through his mind. The question was what? Our team's mission is to perform special operations that were previously performed by Tobaketsu Jounin, but as they have been sent to the front lines it is now our job. We have a small task force of Genin, Chunin and some Jounin under my command, and our first mission is going to come soon, so I first want us to hone our skills. Each one of us have relied on a specific skill for a long time, but now it is time to change, said Kurenai firmly. What about our subordinates? When are we going to prepare them for battle? Asked Enko curiously. A lot of Genin and all of the rookie 12 were now under their command. Let them rest for today, these days have been a little rough for them, said Kurenai gently. All the Jounin nodded, as they understood the teens had just lost a close friend, and it was not right to just order them around immediately. We may also face some missing ninjas during our missions. We may also be facing Naruto Hatake, said Kurenai icily. It was as if that name was a taboo for her. Once that name brought joy to her life, but now it gave her painful memories. What should we do if we have to face him? Asked Kakashi seriously. He wanted to hear her answer. He had refused to become a captain as he did not think he was fit for the job. He knew what being a leader meant, and right now he was not in full control of his emotions. His heart was breaking every day by hiding Naruto's truth from Kurenai and the others, and his daughter's death too. What about him? Asked Kurenai coldly. Guy and Enko's eyes widened on hearing such a tone. It was as if she had just cut off everything related to Naruto. He is a criminal, nothing more, nothing less. If we find him, my orders are clear for all of you. Bring him back to the village, dead or alive, ordered Kurenai stoically. Kakashi closed his eyes in sadness. How much had she suffered for her to become so cold-hearted? And how much was Naruto suffering right now? Will this madness ever end, Minato-sensei? Thought Kakashi sadly. A ninja must have courage to face his enemies, but how much a person had to strengthen his heart to betray the people he loved, fighting in the shadows and never seeing the light. ANBU, how he wished that such an outfit had never been formed. No ANBU came back in one piece. Either they died during missions and even their bodies were never formed, or they came back with their souls destroyed. It was not just the ANBU that were affected, but the people close to them too felt the effects, and Kurenai was one such person. Kakashi knew how much ANBU had affected him, and he wondered how much would it change Naruto. He just wished Naruto and Kurenai could one day be together again, and his little brother could live happily. I want to become the strongest taijutsu specialist, and the same is for all of us. We have to improve our weaknesses. Our men would depend on us. We cannot show any weaknesses during a mission. So I will train all of you in genjutsu. Kakashi will give us ninjutsu lessons, while Enko and Guy will teach our unit taijutsu. I want this unit to become the strongest in Konoha, a group of soldiers on whom our people could rely on, said Kurenai passionately. Understood, we shall train our comrades from tomorrow. You are a good leader, Kurenai, said Enko with a small smile. Kurenai didn't answer and instead started walking away, her haori flowing freely in the air, and Enko felt that with each step her friend was becoming more cold. Kurenai Yuhi had changed. You want to learn taijutsu as it is Naruto's weakest point. No matter how much you try to hide it, you have not forgotten him, have you? Asked Kakashi calmly. Kurenai stopped walking and looked up in the sky, and her fists clenched tightly. Yes, until I put him out of his pain, I cannot rest, Kakashi. I'll become stronger, I'll become the strongest ninja. No matter how much pain and suffering comes in my way, I won't give up and I won't let anything happen to this village, no matter who the enemy is, said Kurenai fiercely. She turned around and looked Kakashi straight in the eye, and the man understood the feelings in her heart. It was said that the eye was a mirror of a person's soul, and right now Anko, Guy, and Kakashi realized Kurenai had become a true ninja. She had become a strong woman. Anko was amazed by her resolve. In a way, she knew Kurenai had become a good leader, and her desire to protect her village had become stronger. In a way, Naruto had made her a true shinobi. We will fight by your side till the end, Captain Kurenai, said Anko proudly, and saluted her friend with great respect. A lone tear slipped from Kurenai's eyes. Her path was difficult and no matter what happened, she would forever cherish the time she spent with Naruto. For her those were the best moments of her life. She didn't know if it was the same for Naruto, but she had loved him with all her heart. Hell, she still loves him now. You have changed, Kurenai, said Kakashi silently. What Naruto did, what he became, my Naruto died that night, part of me died that night, said Kurenai sadly. What will you do now? Asked Guy calmly. Live day by day, said Kurenai silently. All the 4 jounin stood calmly in their places. For 3 of them life had changed. They had lost someone close to them, and the pain was etched in their hearts. For Kakashi, it was becoming unbearable thinking how much longer were the people he loved going to suffer. Come back home, Naruto, prayed Kakashi. Suddenly a loud bang was heard from the northern gates, and the 4 jounin immediately looked at each other. Let's go, said Kurenai firmly. Hi, said the 3 jounin firmly. They started running as fast as their legs could take them, and in a matter of minutes they reached the northern gates. There was smoke in the air, and the large gates of Konoha were abruptly open. It looked as if they were forcefully opened. The gates remained closed nowadays, as Konoha was on high alert, and without the order of the Hokage they were not opened. And it looked like someone had entered without proper authorization. The smoke started to clear and Kurenai's sharp eyes saw 2 people standing there, and her eyes widened in shock when she realized who it was. What is she doing here? Thought Anko in shock. They stood in front of Tsunade Senju, and her assistant Shizen Kato, and by the looks on their faces they were ready to kill. Tsunade had a large amount of chakra in her hand, and now Kurenai realized she had smashed through the 30 feet Konoha gate. Where is Hiruzen Sarutobi? Violent coughing was heard in a small room, and the sound of wobbling footsteps was heard. Naruto rushed to the bathroom, and soon vomited a large amount of blood from his mouth. His chest was burning and every cell in his body was in pain. Shit! Cursed Naruto in pain. Kurama watched sadly, as Naruto took out a small bottle of pills from his pocket, and put one in his mouth. It had been a week since Naruto came to Wave Country and was spying undercover. The boy's condition was deteriorating with each passing day, and he needed medical attention. It was one of the reasons that Kurama was doing what he thought was best for Naruto. Sometimes Naruto was too stubborn. Naruto panted heavily, and soon rested against the wall. His coughing stopped and he took a deep breath. You don't have much time, said Kurama seriously. I pant, no, said Naruto tiredly. How is your eyesight? Asked Kurama worriedly. It's fine. If I don't use my Sharingan, my eyes won't be damaged further for a while, said Naruto simply. Your body is collapsing with each passing day. You need to meet her soon, otherwise it will be too late, advised Kurama sagely. I'll meet her. Kurama, can you tell me something? Said Naruto slowly, as he took deep breaths. The medicine that Nono gave him was slowly numbing the pain in his chest. Go ahead, said Kurama carefully. Naruto's breathing returned to normal, and he took a sip of water from his water bag. Can I ever go back home again? I miss her so much, said Naruto sadly as a lone tear slipped from his eyes. Kurama gave a tired sigh. This was the reason he was not telling the boy. Naruto looked tough on the outside and was doing his job, but his soul was broken and he was missing Kurenai. Yes, we will go back home together, hang in there, assured Kurama firmly. I'm not so sure about that, said Naruto calmly. Why is that? Asked Kurama curiously. I did dirty missions for the sake of my country, I betrayed the ones I loved the most, despite being a Konoha shinobi, I killed my own comrades. What am I? Am I an enemy or an ally? Where do I stand in this world? What is my purpose? Asked Naruto quietly. Kurama just listened to the boy, and now the Biju understood what Itachi had said to him that night. Can I ever go back home? Will I ever find inner peace? Sometimes I think, I am living in a false existence, said Naruto sadly. Danger bells rang in Kurama's mind, and he decided to stop Naruto from thinking like this. Itachi had warned him that this might happen. He had gone through the same phase and had told Kurama to watch over Naruto, and keep his sanity in check. This was a problem every Black Ops soldier faced. When you lived in the darkness, you started to lose sight of yourself, and many soldiers lost their humanity due to such pressure. I'm just a dead man, ain't I? Asked Naruto with a small smirk. You talk too much, said Kurama harshly. Naruto was a little shocked by Kurama's reply, his friend was being harsh to him. You should not think about such things, focus on your mission only, said Kurama seriously. Naruto started chuckling slowly, which turned into a full-blown laughter. What's so funny, moron? Asked Kurama irritatingly. You just sounded like Danzo, focus only on the mission and nothing else, said Naruto mockingly in Danzo's voice. Kurama tried to hold his laugh, but couldn't control it and soon started laughing along with Naruto. Ha 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 ha, ha. Kurama watched as Naruto's laughter soon turned into sobs, and tears started to fall from his eyes. They are all gone, all of them, Shin, Sai, Jin, Petra, Isane, they are all gone, said Naruto sadly. It's over Naruto, it's over, said Kurama soothingly, nothing is over. Nothing, you just cannot turn it off, screamed Naruto angrily. This is not my war, that old bastard asked me, and I'm doing what I have to do to win, but there is always some son of a bitch out there, and when I look at the people calling me a monster, a demon, I can't take it anymore. Who are they to protest me? Who are they? Unless they have been me and been in my place and know what the hell they are yelling about, said Naruto hatefully. Kurama just looked at the boy sympathetically. While coming towards Wave Country, Naruto had passed through a few of the towns in the Fire Country, and the people were calling him a monster, a demon, and all kinds of vile crap, and the Biju knew it was hurting Naruto badly. This is a bad time for all of us, Naruto, it will pass, said Kurama comfortingly. For you, not for me, in the academy we were taught a code of honor, you watch my back, I watch yours. Where is the honor here? Yelled Naruto. You are the last of an elite group, don't end it this way, said Kurama seriously. Naruto got up from the floor and looked at himself in the mirror, he just didn't feel anything when he looked at his face in the mirror. I was an ANBU captain, the best student, I was responsible for my nation's security, I was in charge of 1,000,000 Ryo's equipment, and I couldn't even save one fucking friend, said Naruto loudly, and punched his right hand in the mirror, shattering it to pieces. He collapsed on the ground again, and this time more tears came from his eyes as blood continuously leaked from his right hand, as pieces of glass were struck in it. Where is everybody, Kurama? Asked Naruto quietly. A lone tear slipped from Biju's eyes, as he felt the pain in Naruto's heart. It was unbearable. So much time had passed and nothing had changed. Was there any hope for them? You remember Jin, that idiot who always said he was going to become the richest man and fuck 1,000 girls, said Naruto with a small chuckle. Hi, said Kurama silently. We were on a covert op in IWA, the enemy had us pinned down, he tried to flank the enemy position and fucking stepped on an exploding tag hidden on the ground. I watched his body getting blown to pieces, his blood rained down on me. My friend was all over me, said Naruto in agony. Naruto's hands trembled a bit as sounds of that night rang in his heart, those screams still were loud as ever. I went to help him, but there was nothing left, his hands were gone along with the lower half of his body. He is laying there, he keeps telling me, I wanna go home, I don't wanna die Naruto, I don't wanna die, but I couldn't find his legs, his blood was all over my body and I could not save him, I couldn't save him, I couldn't save Shin, Isane, I couldn't save my friends, said Naruto sadly. Kurama wasn't sure but he heard a person's sobs inside his mindscape, but it had been years since he had heard her voice. Sometimes I wake up, and I don't know who I am, I don't talk to anybody. Kurama heard patiently as Naruto let out his pent-up feelings. He had finally broken today. Naruto had bottled up his emotions all these years, and had controlled himself when Sai had died. Looking at the state he was in, for the first time Kurama felt he was doing the right thing, and now was not the time to break Naruto further. Listen to me Captain Naruto, you are an ANBU, who lives or who dies is not up to you. The only thing you can do is keep on fighting and never give up, no matter how hard you get hurt, don't you fucking give up. You hear me, said Kurama passionately. Kurama, said Naruto in shock. You have come this far, your friends gave their lives to protect Konoha, it doesn't matter if they were root. You will fight, get your ass in line, fight, destroy your enemies and make sure no more of your friends die, is that clear, said Kurama firmly. Naruto's hands tightened and the look in his eyes changed. Yes sir, yes sir, said Naruto fiercely. Kurama sighed in relief as he was able to bring back Naruto, this time. Who's like us? Asked Kurama with a smirk. Hearing those speeches of root commanders was proving useful today. Naruto got up and looked at himself in the mirror, damn few, and they are all dead. Naruto slowly walked across the streets of Wave Country. The poor condition the people were living in him didn't have any effect on him anymore. He knew once Gato was taken out, his army would crumble. The main factor that was making all the missing ninjas, thugs and some samurai cooperate was the money, drugs, freedom, and women that Gato was providing. If Gato was taken out, then everything would crumble, as the leadership would be destroyed. He had noticed some rebels that were trying to free Wave, and he knew once Gato's armies started to weaken, the civilian resistance would get stronger. But he knew all of this was futile. Wave was already on the brink of destruction, it had lost all its leadership and financial power, and without help from Fire Country, even if they were able to get their country back, Wave would still be destroyed. What will happen to them? Asked Kurama curiously. It is none of my concern, but I have got word from the Hokage that the Fire Daimyo wants to take over this country, said Naruto honestly. Son of a bitch, first he helped in destroying this country, and now he wants to rule it? Asked Kurama angrily. It is selfish, but in the longer run the people of this country will prosper. Fire Country is very rich, and the trade and employment they will provide will get these people's lives back on track, explained Naruto hopefully. He too felt bad for the people of this country, and wanted to help. Before he could think further, he felt someone pulling his leg. Naruto looked down and saw a little girl with blonde hair was holding his pants. There were dark circles under her eyes and her body was very thin, indicating she had not eaten anything for quite some time. Aji-san, can you please give me some food? Asked the little girl innocently. Captain Naruto, why did you do this? A memory of a small blonde girl in ANBU gear flashed in Naruto's mind. He didn't know what was happening to him. Sometimes he would just have a small flashback, but before he could think about her, the memory vanished. Damn it, his love for Rei is far greater than we thought. Even after Kotoa Mitsukami, her memory has not completely vanished from his mind, thought Kurama worriedly. Naruto was brought off his thoughts, as the little girl tugged his pants again. Aji-san, please, said the girl with tears in her eyes. He was currently standing in the small market of Wave. Well, to be precise, it sold more weapons than food and water. There were only a handful of stores around, and the food that the civilians were given was of very low quality. Naruto remembered his childhood, and knew this girl was probably an orphan or her parents were either taken slaves. What's your name? Asked Naruto kindly. Ria, said the girl with a small smile. Again, that name sounded familiar. He had definitely heard it somewhere. Where was it? Idiot, the girl's hungry, either get her something or just leave, said Kurama harshly. Why did the girl's name have to be the same as her? Hi, don't get so grumpy, stupid fox, said Naruto with a frown. Naruto took the girl in his arms, and walked towards a small store which was selling some soup. His face mask was doing its job in hiding his identity, as no one was recognizing him. Looking at the happiness in the little girl's eyes, brought a small smile on his lips. He wondered if Kakashi felt the same way, when he took him to Ichiraku's when he was a kid. Aji-san, why do you wear a mask? Asked Ria curiously. She looked so innocent that for a moment he truly believed that there was no darkness in this world. He felt a warm sensation in his heart. Is this how a man felt when he had a child? All of these feelings were new to him. He had sealed away his emotions for a long time. But talking to Ria, he felt happy. Sure, he had just met the girl a few moments ago, but talking with her was really making him feel a little happy. It was really true that children were always a ray of hope no matter how dark or hopeless the circumstances seemed. Guess, it gives me something to fight for, thought Naruto warmly. He then realized he had not answered Ria's question, as she was still looking at him with that innocent look in her eyes. She was barely 6 years old. How could someone let such a small child live in these circumstances? Well, I am not good looking, and besides, this mask looks cool on me, said Naruto jovially. He really didn't have much experience with young girls. Sure, he had spent a lot of time with Konohamaru, but girls were a little different. He was thankful to Kakashi for making him read books, as somewhere he had read that you have to be kind and gentle to young females, and not just say anything that comes in your mind. You look cute, said Ria with a small smile. Huh? Asked a surprised Naruto. You are good-looking, Aji-san, and your mask is indeed cool, said Ria happily. Naruto chuckled loudly on hearing that. How long had it been since he had laughed so much? You are kind, Ria-chan, but can you not call me Aji-san? It makes me feel a little old, said Naruto kindly. Ria also laughed on hearing Naruto's request. Somehow this person was making her feel happy. Can I call you Ni-chan? Asked Ria hesitantly. Hi, said Naruto with a small smile. Kurama was really happy to see Naruto so relaxed and a little happy near this girl. Guess, he has not lost his humanity completely yet. Hang in there, we'll get through this, thought Kurama seriously. But then he noticed something that was suspicious. Naruto was not suppressing all his chakra. What was he up to? Because Kurama sensed two people were closely following him from the shadows. No need to panic, I know, said Naruto calmly. Kurama didn't know what he was thinking. The boy sure was a mystery. Even when he was with Ria, Kurama had seen Naruto closely observing the number of enemies around, and what type of weapons were in the waves. Meanwhile, Naruto was having similar thoughts. For the past week he had been trying to figure out all the different routes in wave, along with the number of guards on each passing. A combined assault from the ground and sky is the only available option. Gato's headquarters are in District 10, and I bet most of his associates would be in that area. The ground team can secure the perimeter, while the aerial team grabs the targets and make a quick escape. But these rooftops are a major threat, thought Naruto tactically. What do you think would be the best option? Asked Kurama curiously. Naruto was a skilled captain and it was his job to make sure to get every information possible along with some solutions. I won't lie, Kurama, there are going to be a lot of casualties in this raid, said Naruto stoically. Surely the ninja of your village are more than capable of defending themselves, said Kurama firmly. That's not the point. No matter how powerful you are, if the enemy has a strategic viewpoint of your position, you are as good as dead. Gato knows an aerial assault is possible, so he has placed almost 50% of his forces on rooftops, and some of them are skilled archers. We cannot destroy all the houses, as they still have civilians in them. The casualty ratios will be 2 to 1. The soldiers on the ground will be facing the heat, as they would have to distract the enemy while the aerial team covertly escapes, explained Naruto briefly. He is truly your son Minato, thought Kurama proudly, as Naruto's analysis was indeed logical. So what do you have in mind? Asked Kurama seriously. Naruto watched as Ria drank her soup happily. He had to make sure there were minimal civilian casualties. He couldn't bear the thought of getting young kids like Ria get killed in this operation. He looked at the waitresses and signaled her to come towards him. How may I help you? Asked a young brown-haired girl. Ria-chan, would you like to eat another bowl? Asked Naruto happily. The girl hugged him tightly, as a few tears slipped from her eyes as Naruto patted her head gently. The waitresses decided to ask Naruto something. Excuse me, do you know this girl? I mean, I have seen her staying on the streets, said the waitress hesitantly. Does it matter? She was hungry, and I wanted to help her. And no, I'm not like those animals, said Naruto dangerously. It was true that some thugs did lure young girls like Ria, by offering them food, and did things that were unforgivable and inhuman. Why are you so generous to her? Asked the waitress curiously. She had not seen a man like Naruto in a long time. She had observed this young blonde boy for the past few days. He would just roam around, and sometimes he used to feed young orphan children. From his attire and from the way he walked, she knew he was probably a ninja or a samurai, but nobody helped young children like Ria. I'm at the end of my life, it is a good thing to be generous, said Naruto calmly. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't dash, said the waitress quickly as she realized the situation. It's no problem, Akira-san, I have lived a good life, said Naruto with a smile, as he saw Ria drinking her soup without a care in the world. He wondered if the children in Konoha and every ninja village were like Ria. If they were, then what was the point of waging wars against each other, and spilling unnecessary blood? War brought nothing but pain, misery and sorrow. Only the dead have ever seen the end of war. Those who survive are forever entrapped in an endless cycle of guilt or revenge, and it gives birth to broken soldiers like Naruto. He had a dream of stopping such futile wars someday. You know my name? Asked Akira in shock. Naruto just explained to her that he had heard some people call her name, that was why he knew it. Ria-chan, it's time for me to go, said Naruto calmly. The little girl stopped eating and now had a sad look on her face, and Akira could feel that this girl really did not want to be alone. You are leaving me? Asked Ria sadly. I have some work to do, but I promise I'll meet you again, said Naruto gently and gave Ria a soft kiss on the cheek. He then got up and signaled Akira to follow him, and when they reached a corner he gave her a small pouch. Akira curiously opened it, and was surprised to see a lot of money in it. Keep her with you for a while, give her what she wants, those people are out today in search of new young girls. You understand what I'm saying? Asked Naruto sharply. Normally Gato's thugs would leave young girls alone. Even a vile man like Gato knew that people would do anything for their children, and had ordered his men not to harm them. But for orphans like Ria, there was no such thing, and they were easy prey. But dash, said Akira in protest, but was cut off when Naruto's cold blue eyes looked at her dangerously. That was not a request, keep her safe. And on which date is there a new moon? Asked Naruto sharply. Friday, said Akira with fear, as she was a little terrified of Naruto. Are the docks working on Friday? Asked Naruto calmly. Akira was quite surprised with his sudden change in personality. One minute he seems like a kind person, and the other moment he turns into a dangerous man. No, navigation becomes difficult, so they have been closed, said Akira slowly. Perfect, a small team can infiltrate through the docks, there will be no moonlight so they won't be spotted by the guards. While the aerial team secures the prisoners, the ground team will secure the perimeter and take out any resistance, but this would have to be done before sunrise, because the whole damn city will be over them if they are caught. Hiruzen, you better be careful or you are going to have to fill 100 body bags, thought Naruto seriously. Kurama watched in amazement as Naruto devised a brilliant plan. The boy did have the brains to be a captain. Naruto thanked the waitress and slowly walked out of the stand. He knew he was being followed, and that was what he exactly wanted. "What are you up to?" asked Kurama curiously. He could never guess what Naruto was planning. "In order to disrupt an army, you have to wipe out its leadership. It will cause panic, which leads to mistakes, ultimately giving your enemies the vital chance of winning. This is my first move. In 3 moves Gato and his associates will be mine," said Naruto smartly. "You and your damn mysteries," said Kurama in annoyance. "That's why you are a baka," said Naruto jovially. "Why you?" said Kurama angrily, but was cut off as Naruto took a sharp turn in a small alley. 2 figures landed behind Naruto, and Kurama instantly realized they were ninja, and guessed from their chakra. They were high Chunin level ninja. "You come with us now," commanded a short brown-haired man. He had a gauntlet on his left arm, which had a chain coming out of it. His face was covered by a red breather. The other ninja also had similar brown hair, and a gauntlet on his right arm, which surprisingly had a chain coming out of it. "So, it only took the demon brothers a week to feel my presence," pathetic, said Naruto in disgust. "Why you dash," said Meizu, and ran off to finish this missing ninja. However, Gozu's eyes widened in shock, as he realized who this person was. How could he miss those golden blonde hair? "Meizu, stoppppppppppppppppppp," said Gozu loudly in fear. However, Meizu was enraged and rushed towards his opponent. How dare this man mock him and his brother? He wrapped his chain all over his opponent's body, and an evil smile came on his face. "Die!" The chain snapped, and to Meizu's horror, instead of his opponent being ripped to shreds, it was his own body that got torn to pieces, and he fell dead on the ground. He never even got a chance to scream. Gozu watched in horror, as his younger brother's blood splashed on his face. His brother was dead in a flash, and he never even saw Naruto move. "Bastard!" screamed Gozu in agony, but before he could move he felt a chill run down his spine as a kunai was pointed on his neck. "Listen to me carefully, go to your boss and tell him I want to fight him, or else I'll kill Haku," said Naruto icily. Gozu's eyes widened on hearing that he was working for an S-rank missing nin, Zabuza Mamachi. Zabuza was the head of Wave's army, and was Gato's personal bodyguard too. Zabuza was once a part of the fierce 7 ninja swordsmen of Kiri. His skills in kenjutsu and water ninjutsu were unparalleled. He was also a master in the art of silent killing, but that man had one weakness: he cared a little about his student Haku, whom he had adopted a few years back. The fact that Haku was missing for a few days was the reason Zabuza had ordered him and his now deceased brother Meizu to find her kidnapper, and it seemed Gozu had found a terrifying answer. "Zabuza won't come," said Gozu hesitantly. He had a feeling that Zabuza would just discard Haku. The man had told them he was searching for Haku, as she was a useful tool to him, nothing more, nothing less. But now, as the enemy had captured her, she was no longer useful. "Then I'll send her body to you in little pieces, and I will destroy each and every weapon caught. How's that sound? I'll start with the one in District 3, where a lot of expensive swords, drugs, and many more invaluable things are there." "Gozu?" asked Naruto with a devious smirk. "You dash," said Gozu, but was cut off, as Naruto pierced his kunai straight through the left side of his stomach, and he coughed up a lot of blood. Gozu collapsed on the ground, and tried to stop the blood coming out of his body with the help of his hands. "Why?" asked Gozu in pain. "To test the limits of my own abilities. I want to kill everyone who has power, and the Demon of the Mist sounds like a good choice." "Go, run and tell Zabuza to fight me with the same hatred that I have," said Naruto darkly. Naruto didn't leak any ki, but Gozu shit his pants when he saw the cold blue eyes of Naruto. He saw his own death in those eyes. "I have to get out here," thought Gozu in terror. "Oh, and clean that mess over there. I don't like filthy dirt on the ground," said Naruto distastefully, and pointed to Meizu's body pieces that were lying on the ground. Gozu was indeed fearful, but nobody insulted his brother, and no matter what happened he would not let a monster like Naruto say such things. "You can kill me, but remember this: you will die a horrible death. You will die all alone. All your dreams, your hopes will shatter just like Meizu's and every other person you killed." Naruto Hatake, you will die in front of the person you cared about the most, said Gozu angrily. Naruto's eyes widened in shock, as Gozu's words hit deep in his heart, and somewhere his soul knew that was probably the truth. He slashed his sword clean through Gozu's chest, and the man fell flat on the ground, as a pool of blood surrounded his body, but Gozu was still alive. Shut up, said Naruto slowly. Naruto, thought Kurama worriedly. Naruto slowly started walking away, leaving a half-alive Gozu, and the dead body of Meizu behind. His mind was still preoccupied with what he had just heard. Naruto, why didn't you kill him? Asked Kurama quickly. He will serve his purpose, and Zabuza will come and then my plan will start, said Naruto firmly. What is your plan? Asked Kurama curiously. By eliminating Zabuza and his group, I'll become Gato's personal bodyguard as well as the head of Wave's army, and in this way I can get more intel. That will save lives of many Konoha shinobi, said Naruto stoically. You are willing to become Gato's personal dog? Asked Kurama angrily. He could not believe that Naruto would be willing to go this far. Naruto looked at the clear sky, the shiny rays of the sun were hitting his eyes, and for a moment he saw Kurenai's face flash in front of his eyes. I still don't get it, why are you sacrificing so much? Why are you enduring so much pain? I know somewhere in your heart, you dislike Konoha a little, even Shin would understand. If you cannot go any further, why? Asked Kurama firmly. Because I promised her, said Naruto slowly. What? Asked Kurama curiously. Naruto closed his eyes, as the defining moment of his life flashed in front of his eyes. Flashback, a few months ago. Two people were currently standing in Konoha's graveyard, where the fallen shinobi were buried. Kurenai was kneeling in front of a grave and had laid flowers on it. Tears were freely falling from her eyes, and her heart was breaking on reading the name on the grave. Jushiro Yuhi. A proud father and a devoted shinobi. Naruto stood behind Kurenai, and his heart broke when he saw her like this. He didn't have a father, so he couldn't understand her pain, and that was killing him. He wanted to be there for her, and take away all the pain from her heart, and right now seeing her crying like this was making him feel helpless. Naruto embraced her from behind, and Kurenai leaned in his arms. She was glad he was by her side. Today was her father's death anniversary, and also Naruto's birthday. But despite that, he had allowed her to grieve, and was by her side. Naruto, I miss him so much, said Kurenai sadly. He will be proud of you, said Naruto soothingly. Somehow being this close to her made him feel her pain. I wanted him to see me becoming a shinobi. He had a dream of protecting this village, and I won't let his dream die. I just don't want any more of my friends to die, said Kurenai in a broken voice. Tears slipped from Naruto's eyes as he remembered all his friends who had died. All of them had died for Konoha, but not anymore. He slowly got up, and started moving towards the exit, as the pain in his heart was unbearable and he didn't want Kurenai to see him this way. Naruto heard quick footsteps coming his way, and he heard her voice. Where are you going, Naruto? Asked Kurenai gently. Naruto's hands clenched tightly, and he knew what he had to do, no matter what happened. I've made up my mind, said Naruto firmly. Huh? Said Kurenai in confusion. Naruto turned around and looked her straight in the eye, and she noticed the tears in his eyes. I'll become more stronger and change things, I promise you. I won't let anything happen to your dream, no matter what hell I have to go through. You won't be crying over any of your friends or family's graves from now on, said Naruto with determination, and his dark blue eyes showed Kurenai his resolve. Naruto, you, said Kurenai in shock. Did he love her so much? Flashback end. A lone tear slipped from his eyes, as he remembered Kurenai and the promise which he had made to her. For him, that promise was as important as the one which he had made to Shin. And he would not break that promise at any cost. That is something you cannot understand, Kurama, said Naruto calmly. What is that I am not understanding? Asked Kurama in confusion. I am not doing this for Konoha, or my comrades, or in the name of duty. I am doing this for her dream, said Naruto sadly. Kurama got a hint of what Naruto was trying to say, and he somewhat understood Naruto's resolve. You are willing to go that far for her, even knowing that she may never know how much pain and suffering you are enduring for her, asked Kurama in surprise. Even if it costs me my soul. I don't want to see her crying in front of graves, I don't want any glory, or any type of gratitude, I just don't want to see her cry. Said Naruto in a soft voice. Is this your dream? Asked Kurama softly. I don't know if I can create a peaceful world or not, but I want to create a home where Kurenai can live peacefully, said Naruto seriously. So, you want to bear everything alone on your shoulders? Asked Kurama flatly. Hi, said Naruto honestly. You need to tell her, telling her your truth would ease her mind, said Kurama seriously. No, said Naruto firmly. Why don't you understand? Asked Kurama furiously, and thrashed his paws against his cage in frustration. You listen to me, I need her to be safe, okay? That's the only thing I need, said Naruto fiercely. When are you shinobi ever safe? Asked Kurama with a snort. This is different, Kurama. Said Naruto quietly. How? Asked Kurama curiously, he just couldn't understand what Naruto was thinking. Because of the crap we are in, the shit I am dealing with, we have been on this road before Kurama, with Danzo, now Gato, and Orochimaru, we both know where this ends. One of us will die or worse than that, and I cannot involve her in this mess, said Naruto firmly. So, you just decided yourself and want to play a hero? Asked Kurama distastefully. I'm expendable Kurama, Kurenai is not, I cannot sacrifice her, said Naruto fiercely. Naruto said Kurama but was cut off. You told me that you see a way out for me, you see a light at the end of this ugly-ass tunnel, I don't, said Naruto sadly. Kurama's heart broke a little on hearing his partner didn't believe in him. But I'll tell you what I do know, I'll die fighting for her, because that's what I have waiting for me, that's all I have waiting for me. I want her to be safe, I want Kurenai to have a life, become a happy person, having her kids, grandkids and living a peaceful, happy life, that is my perfect ending, and this is the only one I will get, so I'll fight till my last breath for that dream, said Naruto stubbornly. Kurama was proud as well as sad at the same time on hearing that, proud of Naruto for loving Kurenai so much, and sad that he was not understanding one important thing. Why don't you understand? You are her life, thought Kurama sadly. Both of them hadn't realized that they had been walking for the past 30 minutes, and were now standing in front of the docks. Naruto took a deep breath, and got a small smirk on his face. So, you came, Zabuza Mamachi, said Naruto with a grin. He was right as behind him was standing none other than the Demon of the Mist, and one of the most dangerous shinobi in the world. Zabuza had a very well-built body, and his bare chest was showing his muscles and the power he possessed, but the most dangerous thing was the large sword strapped on his back. It was almost as big as Zabuza, and was so sharp that it could cleave many heads in one swipe. Zabuza's eyes gleamed maniacally as he knew his opponent was strong, and he loved fights. The fact that his enemy had Haku was another factor he wanted to crush Naruto. He was not an S-rank ninja for nothing. Zabuza's ki flared in the entire area, and he took out his large sword. Let's have a blast, Naruto Hatake. Two persons stood on top of the ocean that surrounded Wave Country. Both of them were looking at each other murderously, and the ki in the area was enough to kill any civilian and weak shinobi too. The workers at the docks had already ran away on seeing Zabuza. That man was a monster and nobody in their right mind would like to fight the Demon of the Mist. The people of Wave had seen how brutally Zabuza killed those who opposed Gato. He didn't even hesitate in killing women. Naruto was looking at Zabuza cautiously. His opponent had fought against the Yondaime Mizukage and had survived. The fact that Yagura had been the Jinchuriki of the Three Tails was proof enough of Zabuza's strength, and Naruto felt the power of Zabuza's chakra. To make things worse, Naruto had just killed two of Zabuza's most loyal men, and kidnapped his student. Hatred may make people do stupid things, but it also gives an unimaginable power to those manifested with it. Naruto still remembered Shin's words. His brother was a powerful shinobi, and that night he had allowed Naruto to kill him. If Shin had fought with all his strength, then Naruto knew he would be dead today. His brother had something that was one of the most deadliest things in the world. Zabuza unsheathed his large sword, and Naruto instantly recognized it as Kobikuribocho, the largest and one of the most dangerous swords in the world. Naruto immediately became alert, and his right hand was now resting upon the hilt of the sword. At any moment the battle could begin, and he had to stay sharp or he was dead. "Are you afraid?" asked Zabuza mockingly. He was a little disappointed due to Naruto's so careful attitude. Zabuza was a man who loved battles, and what was the point if you were just going to be on the defense? Attack your enemy, enjoy the battles, kill, maim. This was his motto. Naruto looked at the man calmly. He wasn't affected by Zabuza's jab. In fact, Zabuza was right. "Yes, I'm afraid of battles," said Naruto honestly, and this time Zabuza was truly shocked for a moment, until he got angry. "Are you afraid of battles? Don't mock me, you killed so many ANBU of your village, and you are afraid of battles?" "Pathetic," said Zabuza angrily, and his chakra flared murderously. "It is true I killed them, and that was for a purpose, but the most important thing for a shinobi is not power," said Naruto patiently. "Cut the act. Where is Haku?" asked Zabuza sternly, and pointed his sword at Naruto. "She is safe for now, but I cannot guarantee if she will be safe in the future," said Naruto mysteriously. "Bastard, give her back. Your fight is with me, but then again we shinobi are known to be devious," said Zabuza confidently. Naruto removed his hand from the hilt of his sword, and was now looking at Zabuza curiously. He didn't think that a man like Zabuza would care about someone, less a teenage girl. But then again, this world is full of lies and deception. "Perhaps there is more to you than I know," Zabuza thought Naruto curiously. "You think you can kill me?" asked Naruto confidently. He really liked to mess with his opponent's head. This time the creepy laugh which he heard from Zabuza was enough to make him realize that something was wrong. He acted on his instincts and back flipped away on the water surface. And Naruto's assumptions were proved true, as a flash of lightning struck on the spot where he was standing a few moments ago. Zabuza started chuckling madly on seeing Naruto's surprised face. His plan had worked. "Do you think I am stupid enough to fight you alone? You may be young, but you are tough. Maybe I cannot defeat you alone, but said Zabuza mysteriously. "Both of us can kill you together," said a new mysterious voice. Naruto looked to his right, and this time his eyes truly widened in shock and a little fear, as he realized who was standing in front of him. It was none other than Raiga Kurosaki, another ninja swordsman of the mist. Raiga was once an ANBU captain of Kiri, and had worked alongside Zabuza. The fact that the man was an A-rank missing nin, bordering S-rank, was a huge blow to Naruto. "Balls," said Naruto irritatingly, his plan had just been shot to shit. He had no idea that Raiga was working alongside Zabuza, but now it made sense how Zabuza survived against Yagura. Two swordsmen of such caliber could easily take on a Kage and fight with him. "Damn it, Naruto, you have the worst luck in this world. Fighting an S-rank ninja is one thing, but fighting against two S-rank ninja is suicide, and you are not in your best condition either," said Kurama angrily. It was true that Naruto was now a little nervous. Raiga and Zabuza's tag team was the worst possible scenario for him. The fact he could not use his Sharingan, and Kurama's chakra in his condition had decreased his chances of surviving this battle by 50%. "Calm down, think about a plan," thought Naruto seriously. He looked at Zabuza's sword. He knew the man was skilled in water ninjutsu and taijutsu. With his sword, he could give Naruto a tough fight. Naruto then looked at Raiga. He had an idea about the swords that man was holding in his hands. Those slim, double-edged swords were none other than Kiba blades. They were the sharpest blades in the world. One hit was enough to kill an opponent. Those blades also controlled lightning. Zabuza, you promised me a good opponent, and now I can finally make a grave for this boy. Don't worry, I'll make your funeral memorable, said Raiga manically, and prepared himself for battle. He's insane, thought Naruto with a sweat drop. Graves? Who the fuck thought about them? I know, Hatake, how strong you are. It wouldn't be fair if I fought you alone, so let's even the odds, said Zabuza with an evil smirk. But to Raiga and Zabuza's shock, Naruto started chuckling, which slowly turned into a full-blown maniacal laughter. Let's go, said Naruto darkly. Before Zabuza could think further, Naruto performed hand seals which were so fast that Zabuza's couldn't even see them. Katan Hozenka no Jutsu, Phoenix Sage Fire Technique. Dozens of fireballs shot out of Naruto's mouth and headed straight for Zabuza and Raiga, but both the swordsmen didn't even seem alarmed, and to Naruto's surprise both of them blocked all the fireballs with their swords. The fireballs impacted with the swords, and were now burning on them. Do you think a pathetic attack like that could hurt us? Asked Raiga furiously. But the green-haired man's eyes widened in surprise, when he saw Naruto performing the Ram hand seal, and immediately the fireballs on their swords blasted with a loud bang. Smoke covered the area, but Naruto had to jump in the air as Zabuza came out of the smoke and swiped his large sword straight at his head, and by the looks on the man's face, he was furious. Zabuza had a few burn marks on his hands, and his sword had black markings at some places. Naruto had to admit these swords were real tough. Above you, warned Kurama quickly. Naruto looked up, and to his shock Raiga was above him and both of his swords had already formed a very large ball of lightning between them. Oh shit! Raikyu, lightning ball, yelled Raiga angrily. The ball of lightning shot straight for Naruto, and the blonde's eyes widened in shock, and he immediately sunshine away from the lightning ball. He missed the impact which the attack created on the water surface. Naruto appeared in front of Zabuza and slashed his sword horizontally across Zabuza's chest, but the man easily blocked the incoming attack with his sword, but Naruto quickly disappeared in a flock of crows. Genjutsu, thought an alarmed Zabuza. At the last moment, Zabuza was able to parry an attack from behind that would have taken his head off. He was now truly wary of Naruto, but he was further shocked when another person appeared behind him, and it was none other than Naruto himself. In a flash, Naruto slashed his sword clean across Zabuza's head, but to his shock his opponent just smirked, before he dispelled into water. Mizu Bunshin, damn it, thought Naruto in shock, as Zabuza had used the same trick. Naruto's eyes widened further in horror, when Raiga emerged from the water beneath him and gave him a solid punch that sent him sailing in the air. Naruto coughed up some blood from his mouth. That punch was solid and his cheek was badly bruised, but he felt another painful sensation when someone gave him a crushing kick from behind. Zabuza smirked as he saw Naruto crashing in the water. He had to admit it was a bit unfair for the boy, but nothing was fair in their world. Kurama watched worriedly, as Naruto emerged from the water. A lot of blood was now leaking from his mouth, and he had a bruised cheek and a bad wound on his back. Naruto's wounds were healing, but it was taking more time than usual. His body has still not recovered completely, and these two are a dangerous tag team. He has to retreat, thought Kurama firmly. I thought you came here to fight. Is that all you got? Asked Zabuza distastefully. He is a waste. Zabuza, this fight is no fun now, complained Raiga. He had just joined Zabuza as the man had promised him good fights, and freedom to do whatever he wants. The wave was heaven for Raiga. He could kill anyone and mourn for them. He could create as many graves as he wanted, provided he helped Gato and Zabuza rule over wave. He didn't mind that. After all, he was getting free food, lots of money. He could do whatever the fuck he wanted. This was far better than Kiri, where he had to follow the Mizuki's stupid orders. That was the reason he had supported Zabuza in his rebellion, but they had underestimated the Mizuki and had lost. Fortunately they were able to escape. Let's kill him, Raiga, and put him out of his misery, said Zabuza in a bored tone, and prepared to kill Naruto, who was panting heavily. Raiga raised his swords and a giant tornado of lightning started gathering in the sky. The wind started to get more violent and suddenly the entire atmosphere turned completely cold. Naruto still had his head down, and was trying to stop the pain in his chest. His disease was slowly killing him from the inside. He could have fought Zabuza, but Raiga had ruined his plans. Well, let him kill the boy, or else he'll complain like an old hag for a week, thought Zabuza with a chuckle, and waited for Raiga to launch his attack. Die! The lightning tornado hit Naruto head-on, and a large blast occurred, followed by sparks of electricity flying all over the nearby water surface. It's over, let's find Haku, said Zabuza seriously, and turned around to leave. Was Raiga's reply, but before both of them could leave, a monstrous blast occurred behind them. Zabuza and his partner turned around, and their eyes widened in shock when they saw Naruto standing firmly on the water surface. His entire cloak was blown to pieces along with his shirt. Both the swordsmen were surprised when the burn marks on Naruto's chest were healing slowly. Naruto's entire body was covered in blue chakra, and his ki was so malicious that sweat started to form on both the missing ninja's body. But Zabuza and Raiga's eyes almost popped out of their heads when they saw a 3-tomo Sharingan in Naruto's eyes. What the hell, thought Raiga in shock. Impossible, thought a wide-eyed Zabuza. Naruto was looking at his body with a rather curious look on his face, which seemed to baffle both Zabuza and Raiga to the core. Too much chakra, said Naruto curiously. He had a small smile on his face. He is enjoying this battle. He can handle so much pain and still fight? Kushina, you gave birth to a monster, thought Kurama in awe. What are you? Said Raiga, but was silenced, as Naruto appeared in front of him in a flash and gave a roundhouse kick straight at his chest. The green-haired man was sent flying straight 30 feet away into the docks, and Zabuza was now truly shocked. Your turn, said Naruto murderously, and performed a set of hand seals which Zabuza mirrored quickly. Suetun, Mizu Dangon no Jutsu. Suetun, Mizu Dangon no Jutsu. Both the water bullets collided with each other at full force, and cancelled each other out. Naruto and Zabuza battled with each other, and now Zabuza knew Naruto was fighting with all his strength and his attacks were ferocious. Zabuza swung his sword at Naruto's right flank, but the blonde parried the attack with his own sword. Zabuza tried to hit Naruto with his left hand, but the young boy effortlessly caught his hand, and gave a sickening twist followed by a strong headbutt that sent the demon of the mist flying a few meters away. He was testing us, damn it. This kid is strong, thought Zabuza worriedly, as Naruto had just given severe blows to both the swordsmen one after the other. Zabuza wiped away the blood that was now leaking from his forehead. Raiga landed beside him and Zabuza spotted a large amount of blood was leaking out of his partner's mouth. So, you are an Uchiha. This world is full of lies and deception, said Zabuza with a mirthless chuckle. On that we can agree, said Naruto with a small smile. He did not hate either Zabuza or Raiga, but then again they were not his friends either. Perhaps, in some other world they could have been friends, but right now they were enemies and an obstacle in his mission. Obstacles which he decided to clear. Both the swordsmen of the mist now had satisfied smirk on their faces. It had been a long time since they had fought someone this strong, and now they could truly enjoy their fight. Naruto immediately took out his sword, as he saw Zabuza and Raiga perform the same hand seal, and he knew what was coming. Kirigakure no Jutsu. So a counter-attack against my Sharingan, impressive, thought Naruto cautiously. It was true the mist was full of chakra and there was no way his Sharingan could detect his enemies. His opponents were ANBU captains in the past, and had more experience than Naruto. We have fought against Sharingan wielders in the past, we know your weakness. Raiga's voice could be heard from every direction, and the echoes it was creating could have terrified any Chunin and even some Jounin. Now, I know why Hatake is your brother, show me your power. Zabuza's murderous voice boomed all over the area, and in a flash Naruto got a large cut on his right ankle which made him drop to one knee. Both of these men are masters in the art of silent killing. Even, I'm no match for them in this art. If I don't use my sensor abilities to its full capacity, then I'm in deep shit, thought Naruto analytically. Naruto deactivated his Sharingan. He could barely see 6 feet ahead of him. The air around him was so cold and it reeked of malicious ki. This was going to be one of the most dangerous fights of his life. The young ANBU captain heard a faint voice from his right flank and his eyes widened in shock when he saw a flash of lightning heading towards him, and in a second Naruto rolled to the left side as the lightning attack passed mere inches from his face. But a wild slash was heard, and Naruto's eyes widened in shock and pain as someone just sliced straight across his back. A shower of blood rained down in the ocean of wave, and the red color of blood was now mixing with the dark blue color of water. "It feels so good," said Zabuza so manically, as a lot of blood was now leaking from Naruto's entire back where Zabuza's sword had taken out a lot of his flesh. "He's fast, there is only one way out of this," thought Naruto painfully, Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, multi-shadow clone technique. Both Zabuza and Raiga eyes widened in fear. When more than 100 Naruto clones appeared in the area, there were so many clones that Zabuza didn't know which one was the real Naruto. "Attack Formation 47, Shield," commanded a voice. To both the swordsmen's surprise, all the clones got in a defensive formation and had each other's back. There was now no way they could attack Naruto head-on. Sure, they could take out half of the clones, but then they would be exposed, and the rest of the clone army would finish them off. "You're right, I came here to fight, and I'm going to win, no matter what," said Naruto loudly. "Attack!" Zabuza sensed a massive chakra building inside the clones, and 40 to 50 clones charged in all the directions, and now Zabuza and Raiga had to dodge as the clones were just swinging their swords wildly in the air. They didn't know where Zabuza and Raiga were, but one hit was enough to kill them. Both the swordsmen started killing as many clones as they could with all possible stealth, so that they could not reveal their position, otherwise their jutsu would prove ineffective. Meanwhile, a group of 20 clones were healing the original Naruto's wounds, while the remaining clones were guarding their perimeter. Distant sounds of fighting could be heard all over the place, followed by the screams of the clones and the sound of swords clashing with each other. Naruto knew his clones were at a great disadvantage and ultimately they would be killed, but that was his plan. He ordered the rest of his clones to go join the fight as they finished healing his wounds. The clones nodded and jumped in the mist with a loud battle cry. It was only a matter of time before they were killed. Naruto's wounds were fully healed, but more importantly, with the death of each of his clones, he was able to understand the way Zabuza and Raiga were using the mist, and now he had a rough idea of where his opponents were. "You used your clones as decoys, and bought yourself some time to heal your wounds, and now you have a rough idea of where your opponents are. A good strategy," said Kurama proudly, and Naruto just nodded. But he had to admit, creating that many clones had put a large dent in his chakra reserves, but it was worth it. As the last clone's memory came flooding to Naruto, he jumped towards the southeast direction and performed a set of hand seals, and gathered a large amount of chakra in his lungs. Futon de Tapa, wind release, great breakthrough jutsu. A devastating wind attack was released from Naruto's mouth, and after a few seconds 2 cries were heard as the attack hit their targets perfectly as Naruto had predicted. The mist started dissipating, and this surprised Kurama a bit. "What did you do?" asked Kurama curiously. "Kirigakure no jutsu is dependent on the amount of chakra the user puts in it. There is only one way to escape from this jutsu, by hitting its users, which would disrupt the chakra needed and the jutsu would vanish," explained Naruto briefly. Kurama gave a 5rm nod, and now Naruto's strategy made complete sense. He never allowed his opponents to realize his move and struck quickly. Naruto's vision cleared and now he could see Zabuza and Raiga beside each other. They were on their knees and had large cuts all across their bodies, and blood was leaking from their muscles like a river. The clones had put up a good fight, and Naruto's last wind attack had caused his opponent some serious injuries. "You are good, kid," said Zabuza with a dark chuckle, "but not good enough to take both of us down," said Raiga confidently. He then performed a set of hand seals quickly, Suetun, Mizurappa, water style, violent water wave. Zabuza saw Raiga executing his attack, and performed his own set of hand seals at lightning-fast speed, and fired his attack. Suetun, Suryuden no Jutsu, Water Style, Water Dragon Bullet Technique. A large water dragon was formed by Zabuza, which combined with the tidal wave that Raiga had formed. Both the attacks had now taken the shape of a violent dragon that was riding on top of a 50 feet tidal wave of water. Shit, this is bad, thought Kurama quickly. However, he was quite surprised when Naruto looked at the attack that was heading towards him with an interesting look on his face. Wow, this seems like a cool move, maybe I should try to learn it too, said Naruto thoughtfully. What the fuck? Thought a wide-eyed Kurama. Were all Uchiha stupid or something? Because right now any man would try to do something when such an attack was heading their way. You dumbass, attack quickly or get the hell out of its way, shouted Kurama furiously. Naruto was enjoying this. Oh, you are no fun, stupid fox, said Naruto with a frown, but Kurama just growled more angrily, which earned him a fine from Naruto, who then performed a quick set of hand seals. Katan Kekai Hidokuro no Tate, Fire Barrier, Fire Skull Shield Jutsu. A monstrous flame of fire was released from Naruto's mouth, which slowly surrounded him, and had now taken the form of a small skeleton-like structure, and collided head-on with the water attack, forming mist all over the area. A new jutsu, thought Kurama curiously. Raiga was confident his attack had taken out Naruto. Because of it he was not ready for the incoming attack, as Naruto emerged from the mist, and gave a quick punch to his right cheek followed by a sharp kick on his chest, but what happened next would forever shock the green-haired man. A large amount of chakra was in Naruto's hands, and in a flash he hit Raiga straight across his chest. Shokutsu, Dual Bone Attack. Raiga's eyes widened in pain and horror, as he felt all of his ribs getting smashed to small bits. The pain was so unbearable that Raiga couldn't even scream and was sent flying in the water with a loud bang. What the hell said Zabuza in horror. Was that shit? Asked Kurama in shock. Naruto gave Zabuza a murderous look, and now Zabuza was truly terrified of this boy, even though he had heard the cracking noise of Raiga's ribs getting smashed with that attack. Just because I am dying does not mean I won't improve my skills. That attack was not perfect, I still have to improve, said Naruto darkly. Naruto, you improved your taijutsu? Asked Kurama in surprise. I read the Forbidden Scroll, and found out about this attack, but still this was just half of its power, clarified Naruto honestly. Kurama was baffled on hearing this. He didn't even want to think about what a fully powered dual bone attack would do, but that jutsu didn't come without a cost, as he saw a lot of blood was now leaking out of Naruto's hands as his muscles were badly damaged due to the force of the attack. I'll have to use my trump card right now, thought Zabuza in fear. Naruto and Zabuza both heard some sound from their right, and in a flash Raiga jumped out of the water, and he looked pissed. I am gonna kill you, yelled Raiga murderously, but immediately coughed up a lot of blood. Amazing, he is still standing? Asked Naruto in shock. He was sure Raiga was dead. He is putting all his energy in this attack, he is going to fight till his last breath, said Kurama truthfully, and Naruto's respect for that man increased a bit. Zabuza took out his huge sword and now pointed it straight at Naruto, and Naruto realized something bad was going to happen. Naruto Uchiha, witness our true power, said Zabuza loudly. Naruto's eyes widened in shock, as he saw his opponent's sword start glowing brightly, and he had a very bad feeling about this. Bankai. Bankai. Those two words were like a kick to the nuts, and Naruto watched in shock as his opponent's sword started to change. Raiga's sword was sparkling with electricity while a large amount of water was forming around Zabuza's blade, and was shrinking its size. Destroy Kubokiribocho, said Zabuza loudly, and a large amount of water gathered around his sword, and raised him up in the air. Flash Kiba, commanded Raiga with all his strength, and his entire body was now surrounded by a large lightning skeleton skull. So this is the true power of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Amazing, thought a fascinated Kurama. Naruto's head was bowed down, and his blonde hair was shadowing his eyes. He was currently looking at only one thing. he was not even fazed by seeing Zabuza and Raiga's true power. Only one thought was running through his mind: guilt. He had promised to himself that he wouldn't use this power ever, but right now in his conditions he had no choice. Using his Mangekyo and Kurama's chakra was out of option. Naruto would rather die than use this power and break his promise, but right now Operation Ghost was more important, and he just wished his brother would understand. "Naruto, what are you going to do?" asked a concerned Kurama. "Forgive me, Shin'en-ai-san, but I am going to use your power." A huge explosion of chakra occurred that startled Zabuza, Raiga, and even Kurama. They couldn't even believe what they were seeing. "So this was your final trump card, son of a bitch," thought a shocked Kurama, as he remembered Naruto had told him he had a trick up his sleeve. The little pieces of Naruto's shirt burned away, exposing his bare chest, and the scars which were on it. Naruto's face mask also burned away, and now his face was visible to his opponents. "This is... Let's do this, Zabuza, Raiga," said Naruto coldly. Naruto unsheathed his sword, and the entire ocean was now on fire, and the entire wave country was now feeling Naruto's power. Reduce the whole creation to ashes. Zabuza's eyes widened in horror, as he realized what was coming next. The real battle was just about to begin, Ryujin Jaka. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time. Later.